military attorney. I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
WKGN 1340. Go Vols!
You're tuned in to East Tennessee's premier sports radio call-in show. This is The Drive.
Welcome. Coming to you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. It's The Drive. I'm Bob Baskerville, holding down the fort today for Russell Smith, who is apparently participating in National Skip Out on Your Job Day for the NFL Draft. That's okay. We got the rest of the team.
Is he sitting
here
somewhere in his Titans jammies?
I don't
Or nervous
know.
wreck?
Highly doubt it.
I mean, it's funny. It's 70 degrees outside, not a cloud in the sky, and there's no Russell. And it's first round of the NFL draft. Things are brewing with the Tennessee basketball roster is still yet to be finished. Got some crown jewels out there to grab onto, Bob, and he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. Well, yeah, he doesn't care.
Oh,
That's right. I get it.
I don't.
Hey, the way I see it, Memorial Day is not far away, buddy. So,
take your break now.
yeah, take it now because Bobby's got some time to take around race weekend. So, enjoy it while you got it, Russ. We got you back here.
You going home for the 500?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Always do. So, I'm Bob, joined here by Bear and Walker Smith. We are here, by the way, no Russell, but we got all the same. We got a great show to bring you. It is a lot.
Huge.
We'll be joined today by Ben McKee from GoVols 247 to preview what is an extremely critical weekend series for Vol baseball against Alabama. That begins tonight. It's a Thursday through Saturday deal. Ben joins the program here in mere minutes, and then in the second hour, we're going to shift our focus to the NFL draft and what will happen with our Tennessee Titans, who will have the fourth pick tonight in Pittsburgh. Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, who's it going to be? We'll chop it up with distinguished alum of Fan Run Radio and also with Titans Radio and 104.5 The Zone in Nashville, Lucas Panzica. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll continue to talk draft, but we'll direct our focus to the Vols, as many VFLs are projected to hear their names called tonight at the podium. Starting tonight, they won't all be called tonight. But we'll discuss the many Vols that are in the consideration set for the draft with another distinguished Fan Run alum when Rick Butler of Rocky Top Insider joins the program. So we're all here. You are too. We appreciate that. Phone lines are open. You can call us at 865-966-3435, or you can always interact with us on the YouTube live chat at the Fan Run Sports channel on YouTube. We're also on X. We'll also be available as a podcast. You know that by now. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, we are everywhere. So big show. Let's get to it. Let's say hello to the fellas.
Speaking of podcasts, did you happen to see the video from last night?
Of?
I think it was a sermon at a church.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did see that.
Apparently we're.
What?
Yeah.
What is this?
It was a sermon at a church, and yeah, basically was, almost testifying, I guess you would call it, a testimonial about the drive.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
It was a brief snippet, and he talked about that he listens to it like
every afternoon
religiously.
Oh, he's listening right now.
But in church, he mentioned he was, listened to it without fail. But it was a short clip. That's about where it ended. So who knows? He might have said, "Hey man, those guys suck."
Who is this
But I
guy?
doubt
We gotta
it.
shout him out.
No.
I don't know. Russell is the one. Russell and Bear were added on it. So I don't know. But yeah, like I said, we're everywhere, man.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. But excited. This is a fun night. I like the first round of the NFL draft.
Sure.
You eat some good food, drink some beers.
There's no pressure for me as a Colts fan to, like 2 years ago, the damn Las Vegas Raiders drank my milkshake because I was waiting patiently for Brock Bowers. And the Raiders slipped in there, and the Raiders had Michael Mayer at tight end from Notre Dame. You know, figured they don't need a tight end. But what do? They go get him right in front of us, one pick in front of the Colts. So I've been on that end, and that sucks. So the Colts don't have a first-round pick tonight because they traded it for Sauce Gardner last season. And I'm kind of good with that. So now I can focus on what the Titans are going to do and what else is going to happen in the draft. But I'm with you, Bear. I do like the draft, particularly first night. Just see all those guys and their fits, what they're wearing, and
all
that drama. I also, there's something that that kind of makes me smile. I don't know why, about all the kind of vicious, aggressive bro hugs that happen between Goodell and all these players, man. When they come up,
I like the viciousness of the crowd.
Oh yeah,
just the booing, and I mean it's in Pittsburgh, so I'm really looking forward to the AFC North. Picks.
Yeah, and there's some drama as it relates to the Vols, and like I said, we're going to be talking about that throughout the show. It's like you
got Jermod and Colton. Will they both go in the first round?
Right? Did we get them both? There was talk. It's not going to happen now. It appears. There was talk a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Chris Brazel's name was kind of floating around the end of the first round. I don't think that'll happen, but yeah, the Jermod and Colton question is going to
unless somebody just decides there at the end that they don't want to take a chance on tomorrow.
Yeah,
and they just really. Somebody's just laying in the weeds. It really likes him, but I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of Tennessee guys get their name called and start the next step in their careers. Should be a lot of fun. I've also got, Tennessee, Alabama.
Yeah, that's a big game tonight. Like I said, I think Russ might be attending that game too. That might have been an ingredient to his truancy today.
He couldn't. He could have left early and made it to the game on time.
Well, the game's not till 7.
Yeah, he's got things to do,
What things does he have to do? He's got his kid mowing his yard for him now. He doesn't have a damn thing to do.
He does have things to do. He
gets up at the crack of 10. Exactly, Walker. Exactly.
Here's the thing. I look at it this way. It's kind of a challenge from the standpoint of we got to prove, boys, that we can do just fine without Russ.
I've been doing just fine without Russ for 10 years, Bob.
We will be just fine. We don't have to prove anything.
I know.
We will be just fine.
Oh, I know that. I don't question it. I'm just saying we got to.
There was one show that was pretty bad, but Cody sat in with me. We got in trouble, but
we got to, stick the landing on this one for sure.
Yeah, it'll be easy. We've got some great guests today. Really looking forward to talking to Lucas. It sounds like is somebody moving up to 3 to take Jeremiah Love right out from underneath us?
Well, they're just saying the Cardinals are just going to take him straight up is what the scuttlebutt is around it.
Cardinals could take him straight up, or they're going to trade the pick is what I've heard. And
Giants. I heard the Giants were.
Yeah, the Giants love him.
To get him.
They love him. But, I mean, that's a big move, though. The Giants are like at 10. So
I hope he's now that everybody – I think it's just because everybody's wanting him now.
Yeah.
Now I want him.
You might not get him. This is my point. This is exactly what I'm not going to miss tonight. I'd love to see the Titans get Jeremiah Love, so I'm not going to love it if they don't get him, but it's not going to be soul-crushing like what I went through a couple years ago.
More like in the Jahmyr Gibbs kind of model.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is I am assuming ESPN's going to do everything in their power to steer clear of the stories. There are a couple stories, quite honestly, that are dominating the news cycle for the NFL on draft day that the NFL would not want any part of. And
the Inferno?
The first one's what in the world is going on with Mike Vrabel?
Seems to be getting more clear and clear what's going on.
He
Announces
announces
on Jen.
Yeah, and I mean, and also, stepped out on his cheating partner, in my opinion, too. I mean, he's kind of said, okay, she was out there saying, I'm not even addressing this, but I'm leaving my job. It was almost like,
he nuked her.
Yeah. And then he basically spoke up, said it was laughable, but now has moved on to, okay, man, he doesn't say it, but it's
he basically
clear.
said he made mistakes and he owed his family an apology.
Going into therapy of some sort.
Yeah. He's trying to he's in save my marriage mode.
And then well,
supposedly it was her husband who was tipped the was the Sun or the New York Post or whatever tabloid it was.
Yeah.
I believe it was Page 6 that had it first.
Yeah, and then as late as this afternoon, Page 6 released more pictures from 6 years ago.
That was when he was here, right?
It was in New York. Yeah, it was when he was with the Titans.
He was the coach.
But he was, they were
I am looking forward to
smooching.
Asking Lucas, getting Lucas's take on that whole thing. Well, what's the other huge NFL story?
James Pierce.
There it
all
is.
charges dropped.
They're not officially dropped.
No, but
he's got to be good for 6 months, right?
Yeah, there's provisions. He's got to attend therapy sessions himself, stay out of trouble for a to be determined 6 month period. I don't know when that begins or whatever the case, whether it's immediately or what. I feel like, man, that's a gift, and it's been blessed by Rakia.
A gift? I don't care if it's been blessed by Rakia or not. It might be an unpopular opinion. James Pierce needs to go to jail for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Kid played at UT. Wish him nothing but the best. I hope he gets his life together, but you can't do it. He did. And not what?
Yeah.
I mean, he had like 11 felony charges, didn't he?
It was 3.
So that's what I'm saying. I view this as like, man, kiss it up to God. But the question will be, how quickly will he be back in action in the NFL? That's still to be determined. I got to believe there's going to have to be some consequences there. There has to be.
Are they going to suspend him for this year?
I don't know. I think there's a suspension in line. It's just how long. That'll be the interesting one.
I mean, the union will get involved.
Yeah.
If the charges are dropped.
GBO Kyle Beach says, I don't think Pierce makes it through the 6 months without getting in trouble again. Fair point. I mean, this guy's a little unhinged for sure. We know that.
I've heard if she hadn't left she left early, right? She left and went on WNBA, right? And
right.
He was still here. I had heard that they feel like, looking back, that some of this stuff would have happened. He wouldn't have been able to make it through his junior year here, is what I'd heard. They were like firing gasoline together. So,
yeah.
And also heard it wasn't a one-way. That's two people that you see that in life. That's two people that do not need to be together.
It often is a two-way street on this kind of stuff. So,
explosive.
Yes. But that, I got to tell you, that the further developments on Vrabel don't surprise me. The developments with James Pierce today, that surprised the hell out of me. That I was not expecting to hear the charges were dropped. I mean, that's incredible.
I mean, if he's James Lincoln or James Johnson, just not a professional football player, does he get that deal? I mean, what were the charges? Do you have the charges still, Walker? You remember?
Yeah.
What were they again?
So basically, the first paragraph of this article says he's entering a program. It's an intervention program, which is something in Florida and maybe a couple other states. And it's allowing him to avoid trial on his charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, fleeing police, and resisting arrest. And he also had a misdemeanor of stalking.
I mean, didn't it take like 10 cops to get him?
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
I don't know. Call me crazy. Like I said, I wish this kid nothing but the best. I hope he turns his life around. But if that was just some random 2-year-old African-American person, young man, they'd be in jail.
Yeah, well, the key part of this thing is, I mean, when you read into it further, like this isn't something that he gets by himself. Like every party involved has to agree with this. Like you said, Rakia Jackson has to agree with this. All the police officers all have to agree to this, along with James Pierce. So, and that's what it says, that they're all mutually agreed to let this happen.
Anyhow, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a hell of a deal.
That's a lot. So the NFL, again, they're going to do everything in their power tonight to shift the feel-good vibes over to the draft. And, you know, you got the poster boy Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall.
But he's not going to be there, right?
He's not, but they will have him linked up remotely. He will do some sort of TED Talk level acceptance speech for that first overall pick. You can guarantee it. Hey, man, the NFL needs a little of that right now. They need somebody who looks like somebody who's, you know, could be what's right about the NFL and professional athletes.
Not a borderline psychotic maniac.
He's a little psychotic, but probably in the best way. You know, he's
competitively.
He's just he's
not a danger to the community.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call him a danger to the community. No,
unless he would talk you to death.
So, anyhow, it's just to each his own. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, we've I
feel like it's an awful lot. I mean,
sure it is.
What I remember is you kind of tried to run over a cop with your car, bump a cop out of the way to do whatever it was you were wanting to do.
I agree.
I mean, they're rules, Smokey. This isn't Nom. You gotta follow them. So anyhow.
We got a lot to talk about today. Like we said, there's of course the draft. There's the baseball series. Rick Barnes talked to the media today. And had one of the Duck Dynasty guys there with him, which was wild.
Which one was it? Will Robertson?
I sent it to you guys. Let me
find it. I used to watch that show. It was a cool show.
Yeah, Willie Robertson.
Yeah, had him just up there available to answer questions if he wanted. But a lot of stuff, man. There's it's
heavy
happening time around here, which is crazy because in a lot of years we'd be kind of headlong into the silly season, but not the case right now. We're going to talk about it all today. Take a quick time out. When we return, we will be joined by Ben McKee of Go Vols 247 to preview this Tennessee-Alabama weekend series, again, starting tonight on Thursday. Maybe also talk with Ben a little bit about Nate Ament because that's obviously a hot topic as well. We'll get his thoughts on that. So a lot more to come, but we'll be right back. You're listening to The Drive on Fan Run Radio.
The Drive.
105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Online at fanrunradio.com and streaming on the free Fan Run Radio app. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia, courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys, every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Malone at Knoxville Smiles. Has it been a while since your last dental visit? If so, I'd like to invite you to come see us. At Knoxville Smiles, it's our vision to provide the best dental care in town in a relaxed, friendly environment. So if it's been a while and you've been putting it off, don't wait any longer. Come see us at Knoxville Smiles. You can schedule an appointment online at knoxvillesmiles.com or by phone at 865-539-1776.
Cover today. Nice day for Russell to just bag out on us, loser.
He's as much grief as he gives out when any of us even think about taking a day, a mental health day, recharge the battery.
Yeah, that's all right.
He'll spend most of the show just trashing that person. So, but anyhow, not us.
Hope he enjoys the game tonight.
Speaking of which,
yes, let's talk about it, because before we dig into the NFL draft and all those things, as I mentioned, big series this weekend for Tennessee baseball. Josh Elander and the boys. We said that last weekend going into the Ole Miss series, saying, hey, Ole Miss and Alabama, two very, very tough series. We want to do well in those because then we got to go up to Lexington, and we know what happens up there with that crazy bunch in Lexington. But we know what happened. Tennessee loses the series to Ole Miss, which adds a little more pressure to what should or needs to happen this weekend against Alabama, who's scuffling a little bit themselves. Let's talk a little bit about the series, get a perspective from a guy who's a friend of the show, friend of mine, does a fantastic job covering Tennessee athletics for GoVols 247. It's Ben McKee. Ben, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
We are good, man. We are good. Well, we'll get into basketball, too, in a minute, because I want to ask you about this Duck Dynasty guy. Were you there today, by the way?
I was.
Okay. Yeah.
Still here.
Yeah.
Scoping things out.
All right. Well, we'll get to that. Let's talk a little baseball first. Alabama comes in, like I was saying, they are, I believe, are 2-6 in their last 8 games. Just lost a midweeker to UAB a couple nights ago and lost it like resoundingly. But all that to say, this team's been really, really solid for the bulk of the season. I think number 6 nationally in RPI. So real opportunity for Tennessee, right? If they could possibly win this series for their own RPI, this could be really beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Alabama's a good baseball team. I don't think personally they're quite as good as Ole Miss, which is funny I say that, and maybe they make me look like a fool. This weekend wouldn't be the first time, but Ole Miss was ranked lower, ranked 25 going into last weekend series. Alabama is ranked 13. I would flip those two teams. I was very impressed with Ole Miss's pitching staff, and yes, Tennessee's offense was frustrating, but I think the Ole Miss pitching staff had a lot to do with that. And I would hate to be a team that has Ole Miss in my regional in the tournament or faces them in a super regional. I think they're going to be a tough out. And even though the Tennessee offense shot itself in the foot, I think Ole Miss had a lot to do with that. I think it was probably the best pitching staff Tennessee has faced to this point, and they'll face another tough one this weekend. That is the strength of this Alabama team, is their starting rotation, is their pitching. They've also had a frustrating season offensively, especially of late. The numbers are actually very similar between Tennessee and Alabama in SEC play on the offensive side, but how they get to those numbers are different. Tennessee has more pop in the bat. Tennessee has more power, but Alabama gets on base more frequently. Their on-base percentage is higher, and they steal bases when they do get on base, or at least 3 or 4 of their guys do. So it's similar teams offensively, like I said, but how they get there is different. And the one big difference between the two teams, because Tennessee's starting pitching is also Tennessee's strength, like it is for Alabama. But Tennessee has the best defense in the SEC. Alabama statistically has the second worst defense in the SEC. So a big opportunity for Tennessee on its home field. Should be a couple of really good environments, and it would really help their resume, as Tennessee's not quite on the bubble. The Mississippi State sweep got them off of the bubble and put them firmly in the tournament, but the bracket projections this week did drop them from a 2 seed in a regional to a 3 seed. So not quite on the bubble, and if they want to stay off of that bubble, then they need to make sure they pick up a series win at home this weekend, and I think they're positioned to do so. But it's obviously going to take some cleaning up of some of the self-inflicted wounds that they've suffered throughout the course of the season, and I think it starts with Tennessee starting pitching.
I'm glad you said that about Ole Miss, because we were, obviously bemoaning that series loss earlier in the week, but we did come back around to the reality that was not a series that Tennessee went and kind of screwed the pooch on. That's a very good Ole Miss team that Bianco's got right now, and so you move on and pick up the pieces, and hopefully that opportunity presents itself, and they do it this week. You also mentioned something that caught my eye. When you look at some of these guys on this Alabama team, and most notably Justin LeBron and Brennan Holt and Bryce Fowler, these guys steal a ton of bases, man. I mean, you just mentioned it a little bit, but that's those numbers look like something I've seen. I mentioned Kentucky a little earlier. I'm usually associating that kind of play with them.
Yeah, and rightfully so. That small ball style of play. And Fowler off the top, Bryce Fowler, I believe he's a former JUCO product. He is an absolute menace to deal with off the top for an opposing pitching staff. So Tennessee's pitching staff will need to make sure it keeps him off the bases, which can be difficult. I think he's hitting around 320, and he has stolen a lot of bases, and it kind of, he's the tip of the spear for them. He's not going to hurt you in some of the ways that Ole Miss hurt Tennessee offensively. They don't have the big fellas that are going to hit it 450 feet. Justin LeBron, of course, can run it out of the stadium. Brady Neal, the catcher, he can run it out as well. But for Tennessee, it's got to make sure that it executes throwing strikes, make sure when the ball is in play, it cleans it, or it fields it cleanly. Of course, these are important tasks every single weekend, but when you play a team that likes to put pressure on your defense, it's highlighted even more. And Tennessee fans should feel good about this. I know this has been a frustrating team to watch this season, but they have been good defensively, and they have been good at slowing down teams who like to run. So that is a strength of Tennessee. Now, it will be interesting to see how Stone Lawless handles it, since he's still working his way back from the facial fractures that he had to deal with. Good to see him get in there the last couple of games and has played well, but he'll have even more pressure on him because of the style of Alabama plays. And again, Tennessee fans should feel good about that, because what Alabama does well on offense, they have defended that well. And as long as Landon Mack, Keegan Coons, Evan Blanco, and the bullpen pieces can go in there and throw strikes and miss some bats, then they should be pretty in that regard. And then we'll see if the offense can muster anything up.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the pitching. First of all, because it looks like Alabama, I mean, some of the matchups that I see, it looks kind of like they're almost looking in a mirror, their pitchers versus ours. My question to you, and I think I heard that Josh doesn't seem concerned about this, but I just want to get your thoughts on the notion of you have that midweek game, and I know none of our pitchers for the weekend were in that midweek game, but still starting a day earlier for Landon Mack. Is that any cause for concern? It sounds like it's not for Josh Elander.
Yes, he was pretty confident that it was not. Now, Josh Elander is a very optimistic person, which I love. I'm also a very optimistic person, but I'm a little more concerned. I mean, I don't think it's a huge deal. I do agree with what Elander was saying overall. Like, at this level, you have the luxury of your starters having a week off essentially in between starts, making one start a week. and that one day being moved up doesn't affect them a whole lot. I do agree with that. I'm not trying to disagree with the head ball coach, but I just from the outside looking in, I am a little bit more concerned, or maybe intrigued is the better word to use, with how Landon Mack, Tegan Kuhns, Evan Blanco all performed, because they all threw a lot of pitches last week. I believe Tegan and Blanco both set career highs in pitches thrown in their outings last weekend, and now their next start is going to be a day earlier, one day less rest. So, again, not a huge concern to me. It's just kind of something to monitor, something I'm curious to see how it plays out. And I think it will have – I think that is one of the keys for Tennessee this weekend is how do those guys handle that? Throwing a lot of pitches last week. I mentioned Tegan and Evan career highs. Landon also threw a lot of pitches, and they were stressful pitches as well, which almost counts as two. So that's something to watch is how efficient are those guys? How is their command one day shorter rest after throwing a bunch of taxing pitches last week? How they handle that, I think, will ultimately dictate whether Tennessee wins the series or not.
Cam Appenzeller, so many superlatives around this kid, but then got a little bit of a reality check this past weekend against Ole Miss. Think that's just I'm inclined to believe it. This guy's super talented, just a bump in the road. It feels like, and maybe again a testimony to the way Ole Miss, some mature batters that kind of worked him a little bit too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a blip on the radar. I agree with what you're getting at there. I would be surprised if it lingers. I also think part of the reason Appenzeller struggled last week is because of how much pressure was on him to perform, because the Tennessee offense was giving the pitching staff absolutely nothing to work with. He comes in a scoreless game. He comes in in a scoreless game, gets out of the sixth inning, I believe it was, and then it's 0-0 going to the seventh, and he allows back-to-back walks. He's able to get out of that inning by only allowing one run, and then I think he gave up a run in the eighth. The point that I'm getting to is it's really hard it's harder to command the baseball when you know there's no room for error, because your offense has been able to do nothing all day long. Obviously, the offense has been up and down throughout the course of the season, but in that particular game, they had one hit through 8 innings. And I believe when Appenzeller came into the game in the top of the sixth, they were still being no hit. The offense was. They didn't get their first hit until the bottom of the sixth, didn't have a runner on base until the bottom of the fifth. So that Cam Appenzeller has obviously done a great job of controlling the pressure, and he's been the equivalent of Nate Ament for the baseball team, a 5-star prospect. There's been a lot of pressure on him to perform, and he's handled it well. And his command wasn't what it needed to be. Josh Elander talked post-game about how he thought his tempo and his delivery was kind of throwing him off, and maybe got a little flustered with that. But I also think he got flustered because he felt like he needed to be perfect because the offense wasn't helping him out. So I think hopefully for Appenzeller, there's some better circumstances that he can pitch under this weekend, and I'm sure they identified some of the fundamental technique things that he needs to clean up and got that sorted out. And I would be very, very surprised if that was something that lingered. He just doesn't have that type of mentality. He's a dog out there. He really is, and I expect him to bounce back this weekend, and that'll be critical for Tennessee winning the series.
Couple more baseball questions for you, and then we might slide into a little basketball. Who's the guy on this team right now that you feel like we got 12 conference games left before the SEC tournament? Pretty critical time, man. Series coming up, this Alabama series we just talked about. Then you go to Lexington, then you got Texas coming in, and then you wrap up at Oklahoma. And right now there's 10 teams in the SEC that are separated by 2 games in the standings. So there's a lot there to get, but this is not exactly a soft lineup ahead of foes for the Vols. As far as an individual, who do you feel needs to maybe step up a little more that hasn't come around already?
On the position player side, it's got to be Henry Ford or Blaine Brown. I mean, those two guys were expected to be your 2 best bats in the lineup this year, and for different reasons, it has not worked out. For Henry Ford, he had a bout with pneumonia and lost 20 pounds of it and dealt with it for a month and a half, 2 months. And so that's why he has struggled the way that he has, but has looked better the last couple of games. So you hope that he's starting to come out of the funk that he was in. And then Blaine Brown, it's just, I think part of it is he's young and he's still maturing as a hitter from an approach standpoint. He's also going through the SEC for the first time. The scouting report is out on him, and now he needs to make an adjustment to the scouting report. And I think as he's gone on and as he's struggled, he's put more pressure on himself and tried to do too much. And when you try to do too much as a baseball player, that's when things really, really go wrong. It's not about playing with more of an edge as a baseball player. The best baseball players are actually the ones, even the ones that show the emotions. They're the ones that when they're on the mound, when they're in the box, they're able to slow their heart rate and be under control and execute the way that they need to. And Blaine has struggled with that, I feel like, because he's trying to put too much pressure on himself to perform. And something Josh Elander talked about post-game Tuesday about where his swing was at was that he was moving around in the box. And the way Josh Elander put it was that he needs to stay in that phone booth a little bit better. When your feet are moving, that means your head is also moving. When your head moves, the barrel of the bat is moving, and you're not able to control it the way that you want to, as well as other parts of your body. So there's a lot of different things that have gone wrong for Blaine, but we know the type of talent that he is, and the 2 swings that he got off that produced hits on Tuesday night, I think were great signs. When a hitter's going back up the middle, when a hitter's going the opposite way, to me, that tells me that their swing is where it needs to be. Now, that's one game against Lipscomb. Let's see it carry over to Alabama before we feel better about where Blaine is at. But him going the opposite way for 2 hard-hit balls, one a home run, one a double in the gap, I think that's a good sign, and we'll see if that can carry over. But those are the 2 guys that have to perform if Tennessee is going to do anything in the postseason. Elander's talked about how the horses need to run, and those are the horses that need to run if Tennessee is going to be successful.
We're talking with Ben McKee from GoVols 247. I've got a guy for you, Ben, that you didn't mention, and I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all, but I've been stumping for this guy a lot this year, and he's slumped here and there, but I just feel like his versatility makes us a better team if he's out there, and that's Jay Abernathy.
Yeah, I've been stumping for him as well. Coming into the week, I thought that Blaine should sit for a game or 2, and you move Garrett Wright over to left, you put Jay in center and Blake Grimmer at second, Levi Clark at first, Trent Grindlinger at DH, and
nice.
Stone Lawless behind the plate. That's kind of my thought coming into the week. After seeing Blaine pull off some better swings like I talked about on Tuesday, I feel better about leaving him in there on Thursday or Friday. Again, everybody was wondering why they were sticking with Levi so long, and you saw why on Sunday. And his SEC numbers were actually already pretty decent before Sunday, but he was able to increase them even more with what he was able to do. You just know what the type of talent it is. And in baseball, it can be so fickle. And if it clicks, then they could really take off and be a difference maker. So I certainly don't blame them for sticking with Blaine as long as they have, because he's as talented as they come in the entire country, not the SEC. But if he's going to continue to struggle on the weekend the way that he has, then I'd like to see them continue to mix Jay in. And really, I mean, I could talk about Jay without lumping him into the Blaine Brown conversation. I think Blaine Brown excluded Jay should be receiving more consistent playing time than he has, because of all the different ways he can impact the game with his legs, with his arm, defensively, outfield, second base, speed on the bases, and it seemed like he was starting to find a little more confidence and results in the boxes as well. So Blaine Brown or not, I think Jay Abernathy is a guy that should be consistently in the lineup as much as they can. And I don't know that it's necessarily Jay's fault that he hasn't been in there as consistently as the fans would like. I think it's this catcher's room and how productive all 4 catchers have been has made it hard on Elander to get Jay in the lineup. But I'm with you there. I think he can be a real difference maker for Tennessee, and he's somebody that I would like to see in the lineup every single night. It's just, although the offense has been frustrating, they do have more than 9 guys that deserve opportunities, and it's been kind of hard to get everybody in the lineup every single night.
Yeah. Last thing for baseball, real quickly, what do you think is a floor for this team in terms of the final 12 conference games? Do they need to go 6-6 to finish 14-16 in conference, or do you think it needs to be something better or worse than that?
I think they could get to 13 conference wins and feel okay. Maybe you have to go to Hoover and win a game or two at that point. But 13 could probably get you in the tournament. But if you want to feel really good and not have any pressure on yourself going to Hoover, then you need to find a way to get to 14. And I think they find a way. I'm being Mr. Optimistic like Mr. Elander is, and I think they win these next two series. So that puts them at 4-2. Texas, even at home, is going to be hard because Texas is one of the better teams this year. And Oklahoma will be a quirky trip to end the regular season, Thursday to Saturday, and then you probably don't even come back to Knoxville. You probably go straight to Birmingham to get ready for the SEC tournament. I imagine they'll be playing on Tuesday, so that'll be a quirky trip. But even with this team's frustrations, they've only been swept once this year, and it's at Vanderbilt, and we know that all three of those games were extra innings. So I think they take 4 the next 2 weekends and then win 1 each of those last 2 weekends at minimum. And I guess that would put them at 6-6. So obviously you want to aim for above 500. So if they could try and go 7-5 in these last 12, I think that would put them in a really, really good spot heading to Hoover.
For me, Ben, the wildest part about this season is I think there's maybe, you know better than me, there's probably 6 or 7 plays in this season, and our record is drastically different. And it's baseball's a funny game.
Yeah,
but it just seems like we could not make that one play that would have made all the difference. I can't remember who it was. The ball at Georgia that didn't quite make it over the fence, and the kid made an unbelievable catch, or getting that last out just to close out a game and not go into extras. But it's been kind of a frustrating season for the fans, I feel like.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think it's been even more frustrating for the coaches and for the players. Something Josh Elander has talked about, and I love his phrasing on this, is that they've suffered some expensive experience, aka it has hurt like you know what. Mm-hmm. But what we're hoping is these scars that we're accumulating over the course of SEC play, that we're slowly getting better, slowly but surely, maybe very slowly but surely, and you hope that it just pays off by the time the tournament rolls around. You hope that you're able to get in there, which, again, I think they're in solid position as of today, as long as they just don't completely fall off a cliff here over these next 4 weekends. But what you hope is all of these frustrating, painful moments, that it's just helping you get better, and it pays off once the postseason rolls around.
All right, I can't let you get out of here without a basketball question or two, since you were there covering it today. And I mean, the headliner is yesterday, this town was abuzz because of the piece that dropped from Kevin O'Connor at Yahoo. And
he's doubled down today, Bob.
Well, our coach has not. So, and Ben, elaborate on that a little bit, because I'm seeing the quotes from Rick. There's nothing to talk about when it comes to the Nate Ament decision. The fact of the matter is, and I quote, "I don't see how he can't go in the NBA because I think he's one of the top players in the country." Did I get that right?
Yes, I don't have the quote in front of me either, but that sounds like what he said word for word. If not, that was a very good paraphrase. And part of that, I think people need to realize that that's Rick's personality. I mean, you know that, Bob.
Yep.
Like, he is, would he love to have Nate back? Of course. Is that him completely closing the door? I don't think so. That's his personality. Like, he's going to proceed forward like he isn't coming back and build the roster as if Nate isn't coming back, which is him doing his job the correct way. So I think people need to remember that that's Rick's personality. To me, it's almost like how he is with injuries throughout the course of the season. And I realize that it's a totally different situation than the comparison I'm trying to make. But just in terms of, I'm trying to paint the picture of Rick's mindset towards the situation of, like, during the season when they deal with injuries, it's like he doesn't care or worry as much as maybe the typical coach does about who's available. He's very much, and he is absolutely like this. When he says it publicly, he's being 100% honest. Like, who do we have to work with today? Let's make it work. That's just kind of Rick's mindset on basketball, approach to life, and things of that nature. So part of it is Rick's personality, but I do think inside the building, they're not as optimistic as what we've seen Kevin O'Connor come out and say.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard, Tennessee believes he's still in that 8 to 12 range of where Nate would be picked. That's the feedback that Tennessee has gotten. And if he's in that 8 to 12 range, that fringe top 10, then he probably does need to go ahead and declare and remain in the draft. So Tennessee has not picked up on the optimism that Kevin O'Connor has put out. And I do think that there is a part of Rick that believes and understands that it's probably best for Nate to move on because of where he is likely to get picked. Tennessee just simply hasn't heard the same buzz that he might go later in the teams like Kevin O'Connor dropped. Maybe that would have changed his tune a little bit. It's just not the feedback that they've received.
Yeah, exactly. Ben McKee, last question. Willie Robertson, why was he there from Duck Dynasty?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I was as surprised as you when he walked in the door. I was just proud. There were too many people in the room who did not know who Willie Robertson is. And I did watch Duck Dynasty. I was not like a diehard fan or anything. I don't know what they're doing these days. I haven't watched since the show was popular, and that was like when I was in high school. But too many people in the room did not know who he was, and that was even more surprising.
I mean, it's been off the air for a minute, but I mean, it had its time and place. Ben, it was you'd sit down. I wouldn't like DVR it or anything, but if it was on, I'd watch. It's pretty funny guy, but they were really funny.
I think there might be some type of partnership coming around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, it was right up Barnes's alley. You could see he was happy as hell. He was there.
You know how Rick is with any guest. I've never seen anybody who has two totally different personalities. Who Rick is from the time whistle blows to start practice to when it ends. I mean, his personality changes at the snap of a finger as soon as practice is done. It's two totally different people. I've never seen anything like it.
No, you're right. You're right. Hey, listen, man, I could go on and on. This was great, and I appreciate you making time for us today. Go follow this guy's work at GoVols247. And Ben, so I don't butcher it, what's your handle on X again?
Ben McKee 14.
Yeah, follow this guy. He does wonderful work, and proud to call him a friend and also a colleague, and appreciate the time, my man. I hope you have a great rest of the week as we wind it down and head into a weekend, and let's get a good series with Alabama in.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me as always. Hope y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, man. Ben McKee, GoVols247, dropping some knowledge. Let's hit a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about this Nate Ament topic that is looming large, obviously. We'll get to all that on the other side. Stick around. It is The Drive on Fan Run Radio.
The Drive. Check out exclusive Fan Run video content on YouTube. Just search Fan Run Sports and be sure to like and subscribe.
Surfside is made with vodka, real tea, and real juice, and has only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right. No bubbles, no troubles. That's why Surfside was named the 2025 Spirit Brand of the Year by MarketWatch. Their variety packs come with options: iced tea, lemonade, or green tea. Find your flavor by trying them all. Surfside, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older to enjoy. Party smart.
Since the 1960s, Crown Cleaners has provided imperial service for all of your dry cleaning needs. With unwavering attention to detail and customer care, Crown continues to earn the trust of yet another generation of citizens in Knoxville. They also provide free pickup and delivery of dry cleaning, laundry, and alteration services. So find a location near you at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, Knoxville's choice for dry cleaning for over 40 years.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports,
about the Henry Ford aspect about the dude lost like 20 pounds by being sick.
Did we know he had pneumonia?
Yeah. I mean, I was noticing him this past weekend in that Ole Miss series. You know, I was like, man, you can tell. I mean, his uniform's loose on him and everything else. So
I mean, I've never had it, but I've always heard that's not the easiest thing to get over.
Yeah,
right. You have to.
Yeah. You know, we only have a few minutes here before we hit top of the hour, but just thinking about Nate Ament again, and we talked about that. We talked about what Rick had to say, and I think what's going on there too. Look, and I've heard this firsthand from Rick. Nate is welcome to be back. They welcome him with open arms, but as I've said time and again, they're not recruiting him to stay. It's really his decision to make, and they will find a way for him to fit in and stay if he does.
I mean,
but
the truth.
But I think maybe what he's thinking about, I was just talking to William Pattison about this in the break, was I think maybe Rick's dealing with the reality of, man, okay, how do I massage that with Juke Harris, who still hasn't made that commitment? Jalen Harrelson, who has committed but hasn't signed on the dotted line, at least as far as we know. All those things. That's what we were talking about yesterday. I think those are the kind of ancillary things that are problematic in Rick's eyes. And I'm going to add another one. I don't know if you saw this, but Sam Vecini from The Athletic was talking with Matt Norlander today about Thomas Houck from Florida staying. Florida is going to pay the equivalent of what Thomas Houck's NBA money for years 1 and 2 in the first round of the draft would be. They're going to pay him that in 1 year, and that's in upwards of $8 million next year to be at Florida for 1 more year.
That's unreal.
So, yeah, I mean, I love Nate, and I think he would be a huge help to us, but we can't afford that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's where it gets dicey because, but if you're Nate's camp, you're going to look at that and say, hey, man, you know, Nate's got arguably Houck's a stud, man, but you know, they could say Nate's got more upside than Houck. So if he's going to stay at Tennessee, why aren't we going to be getting $7-8 million? So I think it's really complicated. That's really the bottom line. I would love for him to stay. But I keep going back and forth. Like yesterday, I think my confidence meter went up to what, 35%. Now to me, it's back down to maybe 30-ish% tops. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's
you know, that and the Toppin kid is what keeps running through my head.
Yeah. And he's going to declare. I'd be stunned tomorrow if he doesn't declare for the draft, but that doesn't mean he's going yet. But
I saw where Darius Acuff declared. I think it was maybe last night.
Yeah,
everybody kind of knew it.
Yeah, he's not kicking the can down the road, man. He's trying to. You
think he's going number 1 overall?
No, but he'll be top 5 for sure.
Who's your number 1?
I think it's Debonsa.
It's Debonsa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt about that.
Best player in the draft, most NBA ready.
Also, the other takeaway today from Barnes's press availability, there was a lot of things. You can find it over, on multiple news outlets. But Earl Grant was made official as the assistant coach.
Yes.
And he's going to be the defensive coordinator on the team. He's going to run defense, which I found interesting.
Was Gainey the defensive coach?
I guess he was, yeah. So I guess he's fully replacing Justin Gainey in that regard. So.
Gainey was a scoutmaster too, wasn't he? He was like one of the better scout guys.
Oh, yeah.
On the staff.
No doubt. I
mean, he had to scout for some of our bigger wins.
Yep. Big Dog West 10 says he thinks Jukebox Juke Harris is probably going to stay in the draft. It is interesting because we were just saying yesterday that he was trending more towards end of the first round into the second. Now there's some chatter that he may be situated in the first. So
I was listening to Tony earlier, and I heard him say something, and I believe it as well. Why would you want to take a chance on being in the bus league if you're that kid?
Yeah.
You'll be riding a bus playing in the G League.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees you're ever going to make it to the NBA.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be one thing's for sure. There's a lot of interesting developments ahead for us, and we'll be there to monitor them. Quick timeout. When we return, we'll kick off hour 2 like we always do with the top 4 at 4, and that's compliments of one Walker Smith. So let's get to it. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Drive on Fan Run Radio.
The Drive. Fan Run Radio, the flagship station for Tennessee fans.
This ain't no wishy-washy, limp-wristed, kale-eating, half-ass sports radio station.
We're your in-your-face, truth-telling, say it loud, flag-waving, face-painting, hardcore, bring the noise, causing a ruckus, don't give a damn sports station.
Sports talk that doesn't just hang up and listen.
For the fans. This is Fan Run Radio. Get some.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half. Simple luxury for on and off the course.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
Hey, Vols fans, Cody Brown here. I grew up right here in Tennessee and know what it means when someone says, I've got your back. That's why you can trust Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Whether it's your home, your vehicle, your family's future, or the business you built from the ground up, we will show up for all of your insurance needs. We are Tennesseans who understand what matters, which is doing right by you. Insurance is not all about just paperwork and policies, but it's about the people we insure every day. So if you want insurance that hits home, give me a call at 865-992-3871. Go Vols.
The phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait. Attention on the road, that's the only way. Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
It's time for the Drive's Top 4 at 4.
Welcome back to The Drive, hour 2 of the show. Bob Baskerville here with Walker and Bear. No Russell.
Don't need him.
Don't need him. He's dead to us.
Whoa.
I didn't say that.
You're there with you. That's my
know,
partner in crime and stupidity.
Kidding. We miss Russ. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
He'll be back
That's
tomorrow.
good. Everybody needs a day off. Gives us a
Absolutely.
chance to. The conversation's definitely different.
Yeah.
It's not in a bad way. I kind of like this. 3 of us get to chop it up for once.
I'm a little less pick on you when I don't have.
Honestly, man, the days like these, I can relax. My head's not quite on a swivel.
Yeah.
I'm a lot nicer to Walker for some reason. Don't really understand that, but here we are.
Yeah, that I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
Russ brings out the worst in me.
There is that.
That's a talent.
It's a skill.
Speaking of Walker, let's find out what else is going on in the world of sports via the top 4 at 4. Walker, hit it.
Thank you, Bob. At number 1, Tennessee baseball starts a pivotal SEC series to stay on track to make the postseason with Alabama coming to Knoxville. The weekend rotation will remain the same with Landon Matt going tonight, Tegan Coons tomorrow, and Evan Blanco in the series finale on Saturday. First pitch tonight is at 7 p.m. and is showing on ESPN2.
Yeah, that's they got a good announce team, man, for tonight at least. They got Dave Neal and Chris Burke.
Love Chris.
Nice.
I love it when Chris Burke does the games.
So Berkey, and it's not going to be that way. The rest of the other ones are going to be on ESPN Plus, but tonight it's on ESPN2, so that's good.
It's going up against the draft. What time's first pitch?
7 o'clock.
Directly going up against the first round.
Yeah. I mean, the draft coverage will start at like 8. I think that starts at 8. I mean,
Pretty sure the draft coverage has already started.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess if you want to do like the pre-draft show
Sure.
and all that stuff, you'll start at 7.
I absolutely will.
I'll be locked in on baseball. I don't have a pick in the first round. I don't need to watch.
Same. I'll be multi-viewing at that point.
I'll say that's like a third screen, maybe on a laptop or an iPad somewhere, just
That's
keeping up
just
with
insane.
it. I mean, Bob and I, we drafted our guys already. He
That's right.
drafted Sauce Gardner. I drafted Dexter Lawrence. You guys are still waiting.
Yeah. I want Jeremiah Love.
Well, we're going to find out
We
soon
will.
enough, and it'll be interesting to see what's going on behind the scenes when Lucas Panzica joins us a little later in this hour, because he's over there right in the heart of it all in Nashville. He might have a little intel for us.
Looking forward to it. At number 2, former Tennessee Edge James Pierce Jr. could have his charges dismissed by completing a program offered by the state of Florida, according to Andy Slater. Slater added that Pierce Jr. would have to attend therapy sessions and stay out of trouble over the next 6-month period. The former Vols edge rusher was charged with 3 felonies and a misdemeanor in relation to an incident that occurred on February 7th earlier this year.
That guy, nonetheless, I don't care if he's trying to repair his. I would not want to piss him off.
No, I wouldn't want to piss him off.
Oh, he's got he has no judgment.
Yeah.
No impulse control. That's obvious. It appears that he's got some kind of explosive personality thing going on. And he's scary. All things that make him uniquely qualified to excel at the NFL level as a speed rush outside backer defensive end.
Yeah, and I know he didn't report to the Falcons OTAs. I think they reported that last week when they started, so he probably won't be there. We'll have to see what happens when mandatory minicamp starts later in late July and August. See if he's there or if he's in Florida doing all these therapies and whatnot. So, I'm sure we all hope that some good comes out of this. And if this is the road they go down, that everyone comes out okay after, and that nothing else goes wrong with it. At number 3, former Lady Vols basketball signee Olivia Edwards is headed elsewhere in the SEC. After being granted a release from her signing with Tennessee, she took visits with South Carolina and Texas, but decided to commit to the Gamecocks. Edwards ranks as the number 2 overall recruit in the country, and she originally picked Tennessee over South Carolina, among other schools.
Had a feeling it was going to be, I think it was going to be South Carolina or Texas.
Yeah, those were the final 2.
Yeah, so I don't know. That just bums me out.
It's going to be so good for him.
I know. Yeah, Dawn Staley will get her to flourish.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Well, hey, look at the bright side. In today's latest Vols Sports in AI thing, we saw
what is this time?
Kim Caldwell's doing swimsuit edition stuff.
AI?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh my!
There are people that believe those stories that will comment on them.
Yeah, the comments are what's beautiful.
Until you think that these people are allowed to vote in this country.
Yes, true.
If she wants to post roast pay, I saw them. They're crazy.
True.
Very true. Very true. And at number 4, Louisville coach Jeff Brom has agreed to a new 8-year, $64.8 million extension that will keep him at the school through 2033, the school announced today. Brom and the Cardinals have been negotiating a new deal since December after his name came up in connection with the Penn State job. In 3 years with his alma mater, he has won at least 9 games each season, and the deal will pay an average of about $8.1 million per season.
Not bad to be coaching in the town you grew up in and played high school ball in and college ball in. I mean, I know his name popped up for a couple of jobs in this offseason, and in my head I was like, there's no way he's not going anywhere else, but look, he's staying in Louisville.
It's also a great gig because you're at Louisville, which is, I would say primarily a basketball school to most people, so I feel like there's a lot less pressure there than there would be taking a bigger job. If you're able to make $8.1 million and you're happy where you are, stay there as long as you want.
It's a fun town, by the way. I was just there a couple weekends ago.
Never been.
I've got friends who live up there, and we went to the downtown area. They call it Nulu, Nulu. It's kind of funky, and I love it. I love going to Louisville. I think it's a fun town.
Been there a couple of times.
Yeah,
not in a long time.
All right, Walker. That's it. I appreciate it, as always. Walker with the top 4 at 4. I don't know why I'm talking so softly.
I don't either.
This is The Drive in PR.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's headlines.
During the commercial, I was looking at some of these Rick Barnes sound bites from today. He's saying a lot.
Yeah,
he was open today.
I want to see if it's the same one I saw.
Well, we talked. We already talked about the Nate Ament one, which is interesting, and he adores that kid. So again, you can tell what he wants is what's best for him, and he does have all the confidence in the world that he would be a pretty high first round pick this year. Time will tell. If he came back to Tennessee, I'm sure Rick would be very happy about that too.
Yeah.
So now this one was interesting. This compliments of Ryan Shumpert, our guy from RTI. He wrote. He took this excerpt out, and I quote Rick Barnes saying, "The way we look at things now, we look at 3 positions. We look at a ball guard, we look at wings and big guys. We don't have a power forward, a center, or anything like that. We don't look at it like that anymore. And I think the more you can get versatility at every position, that's what you want, and that's what we've tried to do with this class." That sounds so like antithetical to what Rick Barnes has kind of modeled his coaching approach on over the years. It's wild to me.
Well, I mean, it's a switch from what we just saw, because we definitely had a center and a power forward with Carey and Okpara and Estrella. I mean, Carey and Estrella were power forwards, and I feel like, Akbar was a true center.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think Russell's is probably happy about hearing that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you're never going to please everybody. I've even seen in some of the comments like, oh, well, that's great until we run into a 7'2" foul magnet, and they were, of course, referring to Edey. And it's like,
I mean, the kid was a unicorn.
Yeah.
Man.
And it's like, man, you don't know who you're going to face in March, man. That's it's like there's one approach or the other. This approach, I actually think, is more modern basketball. That's all. He went the approach this past year of going bigger. So did Arizona, and it worked for them till they got in front of Michigan. And Michigan was big in their own right, but they were just so versatile at so many areas. I think Michigan, talk about unicorns, I felt like they were kind of a unicorn of a team because they were big enough and they were also versatile enough and they could shoot the ball well enough. I mean, they just did everything so well. That's why they kind of rolled through the tournament.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he was a freak of nature, Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, like when the first time me and Russ saw him, when IMG came up here to play Catholic, like he could barely play.
Yeah, I know.
He, and a lot of people don't know this, but he grew, like he was a big time baseball prospect originally.
Yeah, he was a pitcher.
And then he like exploded one year in growth. And then I think it took him a long time to gain his coordination once he had that huge growth spurt. But I don't know. You're not always going to run into that.
Yeah.
But you do, I think what I've learned through watching this tournament, you have to be able to score from four positions on the floor have to be legit scoring threats.
Yeah. Well, that, and I think the other thing that we've got to get right with, particularly with the whole notion that Tyler Tanner presumably is not in the portal, again, there's that whole paperwork window of time that will expire. Yeah. I mean, he's not coming. So we just move on. I think, again, for me, once I saw Terrence Hill locked in saying I'm point guard one, that was all I needed to hear. But again, I think it's going to be different. It's not going to be as ball dominant a point guard as what we've seen, in my opinion, with what we saw with Zakai for years and what we saw last year with Jacoby. I think you're going to see other guys who are capable of distributing the ball. Day-Day Ames, Jalen Harrelson, certainly Terrence Hill. That, I think, kind of fits the mold of all this stuff that Barnes is talking about, and I'm okay with it. I said that the other day, too. I think when we were talking to Shump, I'm good with it.
Right.
I think it's the very thing that a lot of people have complained about with Barnes, quite honestly. It's, hey, man, modern basketball, where is it? Why aren't you doing it? This is a version of it. This is what it is. So I'm comfortable with it. Would I like to get some bigger guys? Yes, of course. But we're talking about, and we haven't even talked about Braden Lou today that's, wrapping up a visit. And Barnes made a comment that they've got somebody that's a commit that they haven't announced. That's a quiet commit. It might be this Braden Lou kid from Kennesaw State who's 6'9". These guys are, again, I said it to someone yesterday. Feels like 6'9" is the new 6'7". You know what I mean?
Right.
There was a point in time where 6'9", 6'10" was pretty damn big. And now all of a sudden we're saying that's not big enough. But I think this might be the approach this team's going to be taking, for better or worse.
Another thing we haven't talked about, I don't know if you'd seen any of it. There's been some movement. This 5-for-5 thing, the decision on that may come down in May.
Yeah.
What happens if that approved does that mean that are they going to grandfather this past year's seniors in?
It's a great question. I know a lot of people are asking it because
there's one in particular I would want.
Well,
back.
of course, everybody's thinking about Felix, right?
Yeah, the big O.
Yeah.
Acapara.
Yeah, Acapara. I feel like that just feels like so many stars have to align. A, it has to pass. B, there's got to be a runway to put it in force. And it was kind of like what we went through last summer. I think it was with Zakai, right? Of this whole notion of he was going to fight for additional eligibility. And it was like, God, even if they ruled, it's like, is that going to be in time to make it to the next season? I think that's kind of the same situation here.
All right. And give you two a choice. You can only have one, but you can have one for next year. Felix or Nate?
Oh, well, given who all is coming in right now, I'd say Felix, believe it or not. Nothing against Nate. I mean, Nate's a wonderful player.
Yeah.
I love him, but I mean, no, that's a bigger area of need if we get all these other guys, including Jukeras. So I would say Felix Okpara.
You the same way, Walker?
I don't know. It's an interesting one because I think we probably need Felix in that spot too. But when we keep talking about how Rick Barnes is completely changing kind of his style of the way he wants to build this team, I feel like Nate Amick kind of fits that style he's trying to build with this team right now. Is we want to put 90 points a game on the board.
Sure.
And I feel like, Nate Amick's the guy that would do that job a little better than Felix would.
Oh, that part I agree with, but also keep in mind that one thing Barnes is never going to abandon, even with
defense.
his defense. And
Okpara
is just special. We've heard it so many times, and I've heard it off record from Rick too. It's like, man, people
are the hardest guy to replace.
Yeah, people are not going to understand how much we're going to miss Felix Okpara, his ability to guard. I will say this: when I read this quote that he talked about again, we look at 3 positions, etc. I think back to a conversation I had when I do this podcast with Chris Lowe. We had Ron Slay on the show, and this was 2 months ago. It was right around 2 months ago because it was right in the middle of the way when Nate was it was before the injury. Nate was just an absolute revelation. And I was talking to Slay and I said, man, hear me out. And it's the very thing we've been talking about recently too. But I was like, man, that draft is going to be so loaded. Wouldn't it be great if Nate would decide to stay? Is that possible? And Slay was like, here's the thing, man. He goes, there's so many of those guys. That freshman class you're talking about is amazing, but there's so many guards. And he goes, he's special. It's kind of what Barnes said today, 6'10", all in it.
Can handle the ball.
And position, listen, this was the term Slay used, positionless basketball. That is why this guy can do all of it. And that's what NBA scouts are looking at too. Obviously, guards are great. But it's like, man, this guy can do a little bit of everything if we can develop him. So it kind of took me back. And it's kind of like what Barnes is talking about. And Nate would flourish in this.
Guys that can play 1 through 3 or 4.
He'd flourish in it over here. But I think that's why Barnes is kind of like, I've got this guy, and he's fantastic at it. But there's going to be an NBA team that sees the same thing.
I just wish we had Felix for just one more.
Yeah.
Just one more year with our guy.
I'm just looking in the live chat real quick. I know we got a break coming up here in a moment, but GBO Kyle Beach says, if we get Juke, then yes. I would want Okpara over Nate, but if we don't get Juke, then I would want Nate. I kind of get that. I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. But if Jukeras, if Jukeras is the guy, and he's coming, then I would, if I had my choice, I'd take Felix right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see 7-footers that can actually move and defend on the perimeter like he was able to.
Yeah.
That's just something that's not normal.
Felix would it raises the floor of what next year's team would do if he in any way could come back, which isn't going to happen. I just feel like if you would have Nate over Felix, assuming we get another big man out of the portal too, the ceiling is so much higher,
right?
With the amount of talent that's going to be on the floor.
Yep. Something tells me we're going to be talking about this for a little while.
Nate hadn't even declared for the draft yet.
And if he does declare, then he buys himself another month plus to.
The hell if he just doesn't declare for the draft?
Isn't tomorrow the deadline?
Tomorrow's the deadline.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to hear about Jukeras too, I would presume. If we don't hear from him, then he's not going in the draft. So these guys have this chance to kick the can down the road, and I expect both of them will. So, and that'll just give us more agony. All right, let's hit a quick timeout. When we return, we're going to pivot to the NFL draft because it is draft day, draft night. And Tennessee, the Titans have a high pick. Who are we going to get? We're going to talk about it with Lucas Panzica from 104.5 The Zone over in Nashville. He's also part of the Titans radio team. Something tells me Lucas has got some stuff cooking in terms of intel on what the Titans may do. Got to talk to him about this. I'll start with that Vrabel thing when we come back. Can't wait to do that. Stick around. You're listening to The Drive, and it's Fan Run Radio.
The Drive. For the fans. By the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Axle Logistics, where excellence isn't just a goal, it's an energy. As a leading third-party logistics company, Axle is powered by an award-winning culture built on a work hard, play hard mentality. Here, the drive for success is contagious and hard work never goes unnoticed. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, Axle Logistics is the place to launch your career. Join us and take your ambition to the stars. To learn more, visit axlelogistics.com.
Citizens National Bank.
Experience the thrill of traveling with C&B's exclusive travel program. Customers age 50 and above with a Plus Perks checking account can participate, ensuring a safe and delightful travel adventure. Take a day trip or an overnight trip. Travel domestic or international. C&B is always on the go.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Your smile says it all, so make sure it's saying the right thing. At Knoxville Smiles, we believe healthy teeth mean happy lives. Invisalign is a clear aligner orthodontic treatment that gradually straightens teeth without the use of traditional metal braces. And now, at Knoxville Smiles, we're offering Invisalign special pricing for new patients. Call for details at 865-539-1776 or just visit us at knoxvillesmiles.com. Don't wait another day to love your smile. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery,
NFL football is going to rule the roost here in the next hour or two, and it already is in certain cities. Nashville, one of them, home of the Titans. The draft is tonight. The Titans have the 4th pick. There's a groundswell of support of what the fans would love to see, but who knows what's going to happen. This guy's going to answer all the questions, I'm sure. I'm putting a lot of pressure on Lucas, but Lucas Panzica from 104.5 The Zone, Titans Radio. Also, you do soccer too, am I right?
Yes, sir. What's up, Bob? Good to be with you guys again. Yeah, I do the radio play-by-play for a Nashville Soccer Club here in town.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining us. Hey, before we get into the draft and the nuts and bolts, I got to ask. I saw you and Buck Rising talking a little about this morning. This whole situation with the former Titans coach, Mike Vrabel, is getting a bit tawdry, man. What's the vibe like in Nashville about your former coach?
Oh, yeah. I mean, messy, everything that's come out about this. It's a weird deal because, you know, on one hand, it's obviously such a personal matter, but on the other hand, it has infiltrated the football world at this point, and it's undeniable. It can't really be ignored as football news, as NFL draft news, that a coach is just not going to be in the room or even in the state of the war room and everything that he needs to be doing on the 3rd day of the draft where you're making the majority of your picks, especially a coach like Mike Vrabel that has as much authority in the building as he does. So, I mean, the discussion has been probably about the same as it has been anywhere else, with maybe a tinge of, did the Titans at the very least dodge a bullet in not having to deal with this fiasco, right? And it's so interesting the way Mike Vrabel has been covered around the NFL. The Titans have been through it over the last few years. And, you know, firing Mike Vrabel is one thing, but for me, the biggest reason why the Titans are where they are and are on back-to-back 3-win seasons is not because they fired Mike Vrabel, but because of the moves they've made after the fact. We talk about it all the time over the years with Tennessee football, right? It's not so much about the firing. It's almost always about the hiring, about the corresponding move. Usually that's the reason why you are where you are, not because, you shouldn't have let this guy go. But it's just kind of crazy how a coach that has always been perceived to be a good coach, who has always been very well liked by media, by players, by the entire NFL community. This is by far the most sort of backlash or controversy Vrabel has ever been a part of in his coaching career. I mean, it's not close. So, if the Titans feel somewhat vindicated today, maybe they have the right to. There's not a shred of evidence to say that the Titans knew anything about this situation back when they fired Mike Vrabel following that 2023 season. But obviously we're seeing those pictures coming out now that were right in the middle of Vrabel's tenure as the Titans head coach, coming off that 2019 AFC Championship run. So, yeah, it's been an interesting deal for the way this has derailed the draft conversation today, no doubt.
Yeah.
I was amazed at with the publishing of the pictures from 6 years ago when he was in Nashville, that they've been able to keep this quiet for this long. And, I wondered if anybody suspected or – the picture stay, they were smooching 6 years ago, Lucas.
Yeah,
it's been going on for a while.
You have to just assume somebody's had that kind of in the bank, and then they see this pop up, and suddenly there's an opportunity there to make money, right? There's an opportunity to sell those pictures to the New York Post, and it really does make you wonder what else could come down the line, right? Is this thing really over? Is there anything else floating out there that the New York Post will gladly put out there? Obviously, this is very meticulous for this new crop of photos to drop the day before the NFL draft, right? The New York Post, in their reporting, said that Mike Vrabel and Diana Russini both were notified that this was happening yesterday afternoon. Neither of them provided comment, but then it's in the wee hours of the morning today that ESPN reports Mike Vrabel will not be present on Saturday with the New England Patriots. So it has been a mess that has just gotten worse and worse for the parties involved. And it's just messy, man. I mean, it's one of those things that I'd be lying if I said it wasn't part of kind of the rumor mill, but it's just never something anybody would seriously act on when it comes to bringing something like that to light, because it's just messy. It's just a messy personal situation. And now we kind of have to talk about it because of the way it is crossing into football. It's such an obvious conflict of interest. There is more damning evidence than there was before. But I got to say, I also just get this kind of cringe feeling about it, the way some people take this stuff and run off with it and start branching out and talking about how it affects families and kids. And even using that as a topic of discussion to me is just gross, right? And kind of the worst of us in the media industry get the opportunity to do that now. And I suppose, the two parties involved kind of made it possible for people to do that. But I don't know. This is one of those things where I would really love to not care about this, right? Because it's their personal lives, but to a point, it is officially an NFL story that is unavoidable.
Bear, and maybe even Lucas, you would know, what are the odds? Russell's not with us today. What are the odds Russell would be stirring this one up vociferously?
But probably pretty high. The thing to me about it is just given, and I mean, Lucas, you work around, people at that level now, day in and day out. Bob, you certainly did in your career. I've been around it. How in the world did these two people who are so high profile in their careers in the public eye think that they could get away with this? That's what boggles my mind.
Yeah, I know. And it's a good question, Bob. I don't know if y'all have checked Russell's flight records on if he's been to New York City anytime in the last 6 years. But it begs the question, how often does this type of stuff happen? Right. It's highly doubtful that this is the first time in NFL history that there's been this type of interaction between league personnel and somebody in media. But it's an obvious conflict of interest, right? And I do have to say, the fact that the NFL is kind of doubling down on not investigating Mike Vrabel via their personal conduct policy is kind of insane to me. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And today is a pretty rough day for the NFL from an accountability standpoint, right? Where I'm sure you guys have talked about the James Pierce Jr. news.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple felony counts that would have any average civilian in jail for a significant amount of time. But, okay, 6 months of therapy, you get through that without getting in trouble, you're back on the football field week 1 this year.
I know it.
And now the Mike Vrabel stuff. Rough day for the National Football League from an accountability standpoint.
I mean, if it's one of you guys, I'd be baking a cake and buying a carton of cigarettes to bring you. Going to jail.
So, and then we will get to the draft itself. But Lucas, so on James Pierce, we were talking about this. We don't think there's any NFL action that would come where maybe he gets some sort of suspension? I'd find that hard to believe, but who knows?
I mean, probably, yeah, I would imagine. I mean, there have been situations that have been worse, that have been similar, that have led to suspensions. Recently, you try to think of examples like Rashee Rice, who missed some games last year. So yeah, we will see what the NFL does via the personal conduct policy in that regard. But just not the type of news the NFL wants out there during the most important day of the offseason.
All right, let's talk draft.
Who we gonna get?
Yeah, I mean, so I got to tell you, for even the most casual of Titans fans, there's a lot of interest in this draft tonight. Number 4 pick, you already got your quarterback, and there's a lot of either or scenarios, it seems like to me, and I'm more novice on this with the Titans than anybody. I'm a Colts fan, Lucas, so apologies in advance, but Jeremiah Love seems to be the top of everybody's consideration set, but it could also be Arvell Reese, could be David Bailey. I guess a lot depends, right, on what Arizona is going to do in front of the Titans at number 3.
Yeah, it's interesting to go into day 1 of the draft with that many possibilities actually on the table, right? I mean, there's 5-6 guys that the Titans feasibly could end up with the number 4 overall pick. And I think if you're a Titans fan, you can get excited about any of them. Now, a lot of Titans fans, I think, have boxed themselves into the Jeremiah Love or bust train. I would warn against that. The noise around the Cardinals at 3 has been interesting. It's funny to me because we hardly talk about the Arizona Cardinals. They are not a major factor in the big picture of the NFL going into 2026. But they may be the most interesting team in the first round of the draft with the cards that they kind of hold with that number 3 pick. It seems like they want to trade out of that pick. No other team has been talked about more in regards to Ty Simpson and the possibility of trading back into the later first round to draft the Alabama quarterback. So the Cardinals are a key domino there. But if you're the Titans, you could potentially end up with Jeremiah Love, who some believe is the best player in this draft. You could end up with David Bailey, who by most accounts is the best edge rusher in this draft. That's obviously a need. You could end up with Sonny Styles, who many believe has the highest ceiling of any defensive player in this draft, period. Arvell Reese is similar along those lines. Carnell Tate, the best receiver in this draft. So it's interesting that they could turn a multitude of different ways and get help. Now, that's not to say that any of these guys are going to have great careers. We have no idea. Any one of these guys could come in and be 10 to 15-year pros, multiple Pro Bowl seasons. Any one of these guys could also come in and flame out of the league in 2 years. But as far as what we believe and what we know of them as prospects, the Titans are going to end up with somebody that is going to be easy for the fan base to get excited about and that feasibly will help the team in 2026. And it's been a while since you could say that.
Let me put you on the spot. Again, knowing that there's a lot of variables, but who would you like to see / think we'll see the Titans get? I mean, given the factor of Saleh being a more defensive first guy, and there's so many special players that appear to be in that range that could be taken. I'm kind of rooting for the Jeremiah Love train, but we just have to see. But where do you net out?
My sort of best case scenario is the opportunity to trade back, even if it's trading back out of the top 10, the chance to take multiple swings in the first round, to draft an offensive lineman, to draft an edge or a wide receiver, and address whichever one of those 3 you did not in the first round at the top of the second round. But if the Titans are going to stick and pick at 4, I think I'm with you. I have been fence riding this thing the entire pre-draft process, but I think I'm with you. It's hard not to get excited about the upside of Jeremiah Love and the pressure that he can take off of Cam Ward. With that said, Titans have a lot of work to do on their offensive line. Now, I do think that aspect of it has been slightly overblown, right? The idea that Jeremiah Love does not matter if you have a weak offensive line. I don't know that any position on the offense matters if your offensive line is in a weak spot, right? It affects the quarterbacks. It affects the wide receivers. Of course, you have to get your offensive line to, at the very least, an average, a median level in the big picture of the NFL. So I'm with you in Jeremiah Love being that sort of prospect that could really amount to a special player in this league. But then I feel the tug of a player like Sonny Styles, guys, where if you think about it, if Jeremiah Love came in, what would be the best case scenario for Jeremiah Love with the Titans in his career, right? You're talking about 4 to 5 seasons of elite running back play, just given the general shelf life of even the best running backs in the NFL, with guys like Derrick Henry being an anomaly. But Sonny Styles comes in and he hits. You're talking about a potential 10-year solution at linebacker there. So I have felt that sort of pull, but everything centers around Cam Ward for this organization right now. And for me, the player that can help Cam Ward the most with the number 4 overall pick is Jeremiah Love. So I think that's where I'm going to settle.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that I keep going back to, I sit here and I talk about Jeremiah Love, and then I think about, I'm acting like Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears don't even exist, and that's not a bad 1-2 battery still in the backfield. So to your point, addressing some of these other areas of need, I think that's pretty compelling. So this is going to be one that tests Bergonzi's mettle, right, in terms of his ability to maybe engineer something where there's a trade down. I like the approach now that you mention it that way. What other storylines in the first round have your attention? I mean, there's not much mystery about the number 1 pick overall, obviously, but beyond that, anything else that you're kind of intrigued by seeing?
Well, I suppose from our vantage point here in the footprint, I think we're about to see the SEC take a big step back in its impact in the first round, coming off a year where they had 15 first-round draft picks, tying the record the SEC set itself 6 years ago. I don't know what the over-under would be, maybe 6.5, in that 5.5 to 6.5 range. Jermod McCoy could be a big piece of that. I'm sure that's been talked about in y'all's neck of the woods with some of the news that came out earlier this week, this idea that maybe Colton Hood even could leapfrog him in the NFL draft. But it's interesting to me. I mean, we're talking about the first SEC player off the board, guys, potentially not happening until, I don't know, that 8, 9, 10 range with Mansour Delane, the corner out of LSU. I think that's an interesting storyline with the way college football has trended in the last couple of years, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at some of the mocks, and I'm looking at ESPN's right now. And you're right. I'm scrolling, and I don't see much in the way of SEC players. Meanwhile, I see it's wild to see. I'll tell you what's wild is there's some projections there could be 2 players from Indiana in the top 15 in the draft between Mendoza and Omar Cooper. And coming from the state of Indiana, I don't think I would have ever thought that was a reality a year ago.
It's crazy. They're having their spring game tonight as well.
Oh, really?
And which I thought was actually kind of cool to get Indiana fans back into the stadium for the first time since they've won the national championship. Probably to watch Fernando Mendoza be the first Indiana player ever to go number 1 overall on the Jumbotron, and then watch the future of Indiana football on the field after the fact. That was a unique thing that Kurt Cignetti and them are doing. But yeah, no doubt. Big Ten is going to dominate this draft. Ohio State is going to dominate this draft. This draft is also going to have Clemson fans pulling their hair out, wondering how the hell they managed to be as bad as they were last year with the amount of players that are going to be flying off the board from Clemson.
Talking with Lucas Panzica, 104.5 The Zone, also game day host on Titans Radio. One more question from me, Lucas, and that is, and this is kind of going back in time a little bit, but what's the experience been like, the Robert Saleh experience, as far as covering him and also how he's embracing the Nashville community, et cetera? Because feels like I thought he was a good fit for New York, and then things got sideways, and I even think Aaron Rodgers was culpable in some of that, but this feels like a fresh start for him. I think it's a good hire for Tennessee.
It feels like a hire that checks a lot of boxes, namely because of the staff he's been able to put together. And obviously this dynamic of Robert Saleh on the defensive side and as the head coach. And Brian Daboll, essentially as the head coach of the offense, has been really the thing that has energized the fan base going into next year. Now, we'll see what happens. You're right. Robert Saleh had a bunch of asterisks in his time as the head coach of the Jets. And it's very easy to sit and say, yeah, but look at what he was dealing with. Who's going to have success in that situation? And that's all completely fair. It doesn't mean that there weren't criticisms of Robert Saleh as the head coach of the Jets. He's doing some things differently this time around. He's bringing in a much more experienced offensive coordinator out of the gates in Brian Daboll. I don't know that he could have got a much more exciting, high-profile name to come in and be his offensive play caller. He will be calling plays on defense, which he did not do with the Jets. So there are a lot of things that are different. Obviously, he's got a young quarterback on a rookie contract as the number 1 overall pick, as opposed to 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers going into that 2023, I think it was, season. So there are a lot of different moving parts from his Titans tenure than his Jets tenure, and it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of applies what he learned from the time with New York to Tennessee. But overall, yes, the defense has to make some strides, and they got to add some players on the edge and at corner and all these things. But 2026 is going to be about Cam Ward, right? I think if you presented Titans fans sort of two options and said, okay, you take some steps forward, you're a much more well-balanced football team, and you even win 8 or 9 games and push for a playoff spot, but Cam Ward doesn't exactly make the progress you would like to see, or you win 5 or 6 games, but it's because the defense has a lot of work to do, and Cam Ward makes some big leaps. I think Titans fans are taking the latter every single time. 2026 is about Cam Ward and about Brian Daboll and that relationship and how the Titans can put him in the best position to do that. And that makes for an interesting dynamic in the draft room, right, where you've got a GM in Borgonzi, a defensive guy in Saleh, and an offensive guy in Daboll. So very interested to see how this all shakes out over the next 3 days.
All right, Lucas, it's that time. Are there any Tennessee Vols that might get drafted by the Tennessee Titans? It's the thing that Tennessee fans always struggle with.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me think. Not at number 4 overall, obviously. Look, in the event of a trade back into the sort of top 15 teens range, I suppose Jermon McCoy absolutely could be a possibility there. What is more likely? Chris Brazzell, maybe in that 3rd round range. Joshua Josephs in the later rounds would be who I would look to. Maybe even Colton Hood there at 35, if he is the best player on the board for the Titans. Those 3 guys, Hood, Brazzell, and Josephs, are definitely the guys that I've got my eye on there.
Feels like a fresh start, man. New coach, relatively new quarterback, new unis. There's a lot. This is a big pick tonight. We'll all be watching. Lucas, really appreciate you spending time with us as always. This guy's killing it over in Nashville. 104.5 The Zone, doing stuff with Titans Radio, calling soccer with the Nashville Soccer Club. You're a distinguished fan-run alum. I hear that all the time from these guys. They're all very proud of you, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Appreciate it, guys. Still plenty of time to mess it up, so I'll try to keep the train on the track.
See you, buddy. Thanks again.
Thanks, fellas. See you guys.
Lucas Panzica, proud graduate of the Fan Run School of Broadcasting.
Yeah, we got another one in hour 3.
Hour 3 special because when he goes in the Hall of Fame, he goes in as a member of the Drive. We whelped him from a pup.
Yeah.
We got him when he was wet behind the ears. I remember the first day I met this kid.
Wow.
He's come a long way.
Yeah, he sure has. He sure has. Well,
one of my all-time favorite people.
Yes, sir. All right, let's hit a break. When we return, we'll talk a little NFL draft, but also I want to find some time, and everybody will be like, click, 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 but I do think it's important. Don't look now. Lady Vols have 10 players on their roster. Kim Caldwell's working.
I've noticed that their social media, I don't know if you'd noticed this while they've started like pumping out the photos and the videos, and
yeah,
she kind of laid low for a while, didn't she?
She did, until she did that swimsuit edition thing that's out there now on AI.
Jesus Christ.
That's fake.
Is it?
Don't know.
Is it really?
Just letting everyone know that is a fake article.
Yeah, can I got to be honest. When you and Russell, I know you and Russell love the AI stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't normally speak for the whole P team over here. But we're kind of uncomfortable with the AI stuff because it is absolutely fake.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm uncomfortable with it. I think it's hilarious, but I need to make sure people know
nobody gets too
that it
invested
is in fact fake.
Yeah, I
but
get
it's unbelievably funny every time.
Yeah. And by the way, we don't give them enough time, quite frankly, because it is going well for them. Lady Vols softball, they start a series with Alabama this weekend,
Yeah,
too.
they do.
So
Carlin's arm.
She's been fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
she's good to go.
Yeah, she's been pitching great the past month.
Man, I'd love to see them finally break through.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Stick it to that. I forget her name. Is it Panel that went to Texas Tech, the one that transferred for the money? Win it all. Let's go do it. All right, quick timeout. When we return, more coming on The Drive. Stick around. You're listening to Fan Run Radio.
The Drive. Miss any of your favorite Fan Run show? Listen to the podcast on our free Fan Run Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard, the barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134 for directions and to look at the rest of the menu. Visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Vol fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
It's baseball time in Knoxville. Your Knoxville Smokies are back home all this week. We start the week off Tuesday and jump right into our final matinee game on Wednesday with first pitch at 12:30. Thursday is Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, and the weekend, you know it's rockin' with Feel Good Friday, dancing with the Smokies on Saturday, and post-game fireworks, and it's halfway to Halloween on Sunday. Don't miss a minute of the action. Reserve your seats now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Listen to this. This compliments of Matt Norlander with CBS Sports. We talked about this earlier, that there were, Sam Vecini from The Athletic was saying that he's under the impression it's his understanding that they are going to pay Thomas Houck, they being Florida, the rough equivalent of what he would get paid for 2 years of NBA service as a first-round pick, which is in the neighborhood of $8 million. Okay,
$4 million, like a lower first-round draft pick.
Yeah,
is that what he's projected as?
Yeah, I don't think he would have been a lottery pick, but he was solidly in the first round. So probably
it's a hell of a precedent to set by them.
Well, check this out. Norlander says Houck he'll make huge money off of his actual name, image, likeness, which is, he said, what a concept, because that's what this was supposed to be about originally. Due to his stature as a 4-year Gator, plus a national champion, plus a preseason player of the year candidate and an All-American. Sources added he might clear $10 million next year because of how big he is in the Gainesville area. Majority of NIL money will come via third-party deals and not from the University of Florida. $10 million.
I mean, that's not even counting if he signs a shoe contract, which I imagine if he doesn't already have one, I would imagine either Nike or Adidas would, especially Adidas, because they seem to be trying to make a big move.
Yes. I don't know.
I mean,
man.
right now they've got what they had. Football national champion wore Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball was
that was Michigan, which is
Nike.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's a Jumpman school.
Yeah, but
still, I mean,
the national championship game. You're right. It was 2 Adidas schools, basically.
Yeah.
So,
this money's insane.
Sure is.
I'm just really wanting them to, because I really think the only thing that's going to save us is, collectively bargaining with these guys and setting some guardrails.
Yeah.
Getting it all under control.
Speaking of getting it under control, we spent a lot of time, myself included, throwing down on Kim Caldwell. She does feel like she's putting something together with this roster for the Lady Vols. Now how good they'll be, time will tell. But it's noteworthy with her latest addition that she got, which was 6-foot senior guard Kayleen Smikle from Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
She only played about 7 games this past season because her season was cut short by injury, and she only averaged about 13 points a game. Again,
what's she hurt?
I don't know.
Okay.
But prior to last season, the injury season, she's averaged a solid 17-plus points a game, can shoot the ball, Power 5 level player. So this is a good ad for sure. She's up to 10 players on that roster now. A lot of which are players you can't pronounce their names. That's going to be the
you think she's going to double down and continue to do this thing she's been trying to do?
I think so, because if you look at her lineup right now, she has out of 10 players, she has 3 forwards and 7 guards. So so that puts a lot of onus on you. Are either A, going to force a lot of turnovers and get buckets in transition, or B, you're going to shoot the hell out of the 3-point shot because you're not very big underneath. So
I don't know. Do you think you can win?
I don't know.
Level that she's going to have to win to keep us keep all of us happy.
I'll tell you what's interesting is if you cross over to the men's game, and I this is not apples to apples, but Nate Oates' system is 3-point reliant, right?
3-pointer dunks.
Yeah, they don't shoot anything in mid-range, but they've also been getting their butts handed to them on the glass, etc. They lost their key big man, Aiden Sherrill, who went into the portal. He's going to Indiana. The additions that Nate Oates has made to that Alabama team is all bigs. Like 3 of them now are 6'10" or bigger. So all of a sudden it feels like maybe he's trying to get guys who can, I don't want to say like clog the lane, but he understands
bang heads and get after it. But
he understands the value that you got to have guys who can play underneath.
I mean, one of their weaknesses, when they got exposed was when they would go and it was, against teams like Tennessee. Teams built like Tennessee, Houston, teams that play defense.
Yeah.
And guard the whole floor. They're not just going to let you sit out there and shoot threes.
GBO Kyle Beach says also, back to the Lady Vols, they're trying to get a visit set up with another guard that just hit the portal from Ole Miss. So
that lady down there, what's her name? Coach Yo?
Coach Yo.
She's
cooking.
She's been in our backyard.
She's got 2 of our former players already. Is that right?
Yeah. She's got Jada Civil and Talaysia Cooper.
Yep.
Good
ones. 2 of our best players. Yeah, 2 of our best players.
Yeah, I'd say 2 of our 3 best players.
Yeah.
It's pretty good haul for her. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I will say, I give credit to Kim for getting out there because, boy, she was under a rock during some of this stuff. That's one of the things I was most vocal about on the show for weeks was like, why are we not hearing anything, And
I'll tell you, what it reminded me of? I'm not comparing her to him. But remember when Dooley did that? Like he went after his second year, he tried to get his buyout after the Kentucky debacle, and then he went incommunicado for like a month or 2.
Yeah. Not good.
No.
Not good. But she's getting a team together for better or worse. Yes, Walker.
Yeah, and if I'm recalling correctly, back of her last press conference she did right at the end of the season, one of her main messages was that where she felt she went wrong was when she changed the way she wanted to run her system to fit the players. She was like, I feel like the way I handled this badly is because I did, in fact, try and fix this with the players and not fully run my system. So I feel like this roster is going to be meant to run that system come hell or high water, and it's not going to change.
Yeah. She caved, right? She tried to, and so she's for better or worse. And I would say next year is going to be telling. If she doesn't succeed with this system, I don't think she's around after a third year.
Probably not.
So it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see. I'm still wondering about who this is. I'm reading another Barnes quote when he was asked about any other commitments. He goes, and I quote, "How do you know we haven't added some and haven't told you?" That's what you should be asking. And the answer is yes, but we're not going to tell you. And again, they do have a big that's been on a visit here, Braden Liu.
Kennesaw State kid.
So
it looks like a really nice step, big depth.
Absolutely. That's all it would be. All right, wraps up hour 2. When we return, we got the top 5 at 5 with Walker. We also have Rick Butler from Rocky Top Insider joining us to talk about Vols in the NFL draft. Fun hour coming up. Come back with us. We'll be right back. You're listening to Fan Run Radio.
The Drive.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day, right here on the flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka, made with real brewed tea, is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, 0 carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
At Knoxville Insurance Group, they understand the challenges many consumers face when searching for insurance coverage. That's why whether it's for you, your family, or your business, they create a coverage plan specifically for your unique needs. Knoxville Insurance Group is an independent firm, which means they aren't beholden to just one insurance company. They search multiple companies, acting as your negotiator to find you the best possible policy and price. Start a quote in minutes at KnoxvilleInsuranceGroup.com or call them today at 865-694-9788.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
It's time for The Drive's Top 5 at 5.
Quitting time. Hour 3 of The Drive, coming to you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. Bob Baskerville here, filling in solo for Russell Smith, who's probably drinking an adult beverage right now and enjoying the sun. And we miss Russ. He'll be back tomorrow. I got Bear and Walker here with me, bringing you home for one more hour of sports talk radio on a Thursday. We got Rick Butler from Rocky Top Insider joining us this hour too. But before we get to all of that, let's find out what else is going on in the world of sports. Time for the top 5 at 5. Walker Smith, hit me up.
At number 1, Russell's probably pre-gaming for this one as Tennessee baseball starts a pivotal SEC series to stay on track to make the postseason, with Alabama coming to Knoxville. The weekend rotation will remain the same, with Landon Mack starting on the bump today, Tegan Kuhns tomorrow, and Evan Blanco in the series finale on Saturday. First pitch is at 7 p.m. and is showing on ESPN2.
Got to get this one tonight. I think that's important. Set the tone.
Yeah, get that first one.
Put yourself in a position, really good position to win the series. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a good Alabama team. Sweeping doesn't seem like a proposition, but really need to win this series. It would do wonders for the RPI for this team. Alabama, by the way, is 12-7 in quad 1 wins, which is why their RPI is so high. We are 5-5 in quad 1 wins. Now, some of it is we've got a lot of ours left with all these other teams we're facing, but man, we gotta make some hay there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I mean, we all on the other side of that, we haven't. I mean, Alabama's record against the lower midweek teams that they play is worse than ours.
Yeah,
pretty substantially.
That's wild to me because I very rarely watch the midweek games. I'll be honest with you guys, and you guys will be texting the scores.
Yeah,
making fun of it. I'm like, God, Georgia's getting beat. Alabama, LSU. It's all these no-name schools, and we're just cruising in ours.
Yep.
But we get to the weekend and we can't. Oh, it seems very frustrating, boys, to watch.
Yeah.
We'll watch them to the end, though. It's there. I mean, we're just going to be like a bubble team, like it is in basketball, where it's going to be like every game you're thinking like you're in the bubble, you're out of the bubble, going down the stretch.
I'll tell you what, if nothing else, this one stat that blew me away, we didn't talk about it with Ben McKee, this Alabama shortstop, Justin LeBron, who's been around for a while. He is a baller, tough player. He is 33 for 33 on stolen base attempts this season.
Oh, is he like a speedster?
Yes. And he's got power too.
Does he hit bombs?
He leads the team in home runs. He's got 12 home runs. I mean, he's a pro player in waiting for sure.
I mean, luckily for us, Tennessee's really known for holding players on base.
Yep.
Not allowing steals.
I was surprised to hear that we're one of the best defensive teams in the SEC. That's not been the case in the Tony Vitello era.
We've been known to boot it around a time or two.
Yeah. I mean, we are good defensively, but we had the drop ball in the weekend against Ole Miss. That was killer. Like,
God.
It's not – there's always at least one bad moment, even though there just aren't. There aren't a lot of them, though.
Yeah.
But we got the boneheaded one still in us for sure.
It's like shoot your TV kind of level anger.
Yep.
What do you think?
At number 2, Rick Barnes threw a little water on the idea that Nate Ament could return to Tennessee next season. The Vols coach said, quote, "There's nothing to talk about when talking about Nate Ament's decision because Barnes believes it's obvious. quote, "The fact of the matter is I don't see how he can't go to the NBA because I think he's one of the top players in the country," Barnes said. This comes after reports that Amon and his camp are still torn on his decision to stay or go.
Yeah, and again, I'll double down on what I was saying earlier because I think some of it speaks to the character of Rick Barnes. He's not recruiting Nate, right? He's like, I love the kid. He's got a special relationship with Nate, but it's like he above all people would want what's best for him. And if, I think that's kind of his point. It's like, man, if this guy we've got some NBA execs who are saying he's not going to be the 18th pick. If we're at pick 10 and he's there, we're taking him. I mean, then he wants what's best for Nate. That's, I think, the biggest thing that I would take away here. Whether he'll stay or not, I think that remains to be seen. But I think Rick put it out there, and it doesn't surprise me at all.
No, I wouldn't think so. Still, I mean, he's supporting him. I mean, we heard it from Greg Polinsky over a month ago. Like, if it was his kid, he would tell him to go, which, I mean, I feel like all of us would make that same decision.
That's what cracks me up. I've seen some comments on social media, and somebody, part of it is, I'll take it, Greg's a contributor to the show, a friend of the show, and a friend. Somebody was like, yeah, that idiot Polinsky's been saying he should go. It's like, you know why? Because he thinks that's what's best for him.
Exactly.
It's not what's best for the coaches or the program itself. It's what's best for the kid. That's what, for better or worse, that's what John Calipari said all the time at Kentucky. He was like, he doubled down on it. He was like, I'm here to get these guys to the league, not to win national titles. And of course, Kentucky fans were like, well, that sucks. So
yeah,
he went a little overboard, but I think the concept is not foreign.
Well, I mean, that's what you want. That's how these coaches get kids to come commit to them, is because they're out looking for what's best for them,
right?
Over sometimes what's best for the entire team, which is what goes on with Nate and all these 5-star top recruits and how they land with Calipari. Still, him getting them down at Arkansas the same way he would get them at Kentucky. At number 3, the NFL draft begins tonight as the Titans look to add a star at the top of the draft, and the Vols fans hope to hear their players' names called. ESPN's final mock draft has the Titans taking linebacker Sonny Styles, with running back Jeremiah Love going at pick number 3, and only has Colton Hood going in the first round, with Jermod McCoy and Chris Brazzell listed as day 2 picks. Coverage of the first round starts at 8 p.m. on ESPN and ABC.
That's I do love the draft, man. Like I said, I'll watch it. I won't be as intent as I have been in the past because, again, you and I, Walker, we're in the same boat. Our teams don't have anybody to pick. But there'll be some sort of drama. There always is, right? There's some player who gets projected high, doesn't make it, sits around in the green room, that whole thing. I love the whole thing. And I love the little, it's synonymous now, the little ESPN chime when the pick is in.
Oh, yeah. They did a feature story on that last year. It's good stuff.
It is.
It's a great theme for them. I mean, I will be paying attention. I mean, who's not paying attention to the NFL draft? But there is just a lot of stuff to watch tonight. So I might just have that on a different screen somewhere, especially since I'm not paying attention to it as much as Titans fans are. Bear, is that going to be main TV for you tonight? NFL draft?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to kind of a draft get-together.
Oh, you having a draft party?
Yeah. It's an excuse to eat chicken wings and my buddies to drink a lot of beers.
That's true. I mean, that's great. It's a great
time.
True. It's a great time as any.
Amongst other things.
Mm-hmm. So. At number 4, we got 3 Game 3s in the first round of the NBA playoffs tonight after lots of Game 2 upsets earlier this week. First, the Knicks and Hawks lock horns at 7 p.m. in Atlanta with the series tied 1-1. At 8 p.m., the Cavs take on the Raptors in Toronto with Cleveland up 2-0. And finally, arguably the best first-round series continues between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves at 9:30 p.m., with the series tied at 1 apiece. All games will be streaming on Prime Video.
Yeah, that's wild tonight. There's 3 games, and by the way, the start times, this is what's weird, but they can do this on Prime. the start times overlap on the first two games.
NBC was doing the same thing.
Yeah, one's at 7, one's at 8, but they're on the same provider. It's interesting.
And I don't know if Prime has a split screen type of view either.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I mean, you would be able to do that on, if you use YouTube TV or something like that, you'd be able to split screen the two NBC games that were going on.
The Olympics.
Oh yeah, well that's NBC. This is Prime.
Yeah,
that has two games going on simultaneously tonight. So I don't know if they'll be able to split screen those.
I thought, what was that, Peacock? Yes. I don't know. I can't keep all these streamers straight, man.
Got to keep
for the tournament. No, the tournament. We used Prime to watch the tournament games here.
Not the NCAA tournament.
Not the NCAA tournament. That was Paramount Plus.
That's on Prime. Paramount Plus is attached to Prime. CBS is affiliated with Prime and Paramount Plus.
No, I get that.
That was for the tournament.
But if you were watching it here, that was YouTube TV multi-view.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to bog us down arguing about this, so no, I'm right, though. Go ahead.
And at number 5, an enormous hot air balloon with a pilot and passengers in the basket descended perfectly onto a small plot of grass outside of someone's home in California. The homeowner said he had no idea that he had visitors until a neighbor alerted him, but there they were, a group of anxious people suddenly relieved to be on the ground, which was only about 10 feet wide in his backyard. A couple was riding in the balloon to celebrate their 10th wedding anniversary, along with others, when the pilot informed passengers that they needed to make an emergency landing because of low fuel and shifting winds. The pilot disembarked the passengers and returned to the skies and then landed the balloon in the nearby street.
I've never ridden in a balloon.
Neither have I. We've talked about this at some point. I feel like never would. Too many risks.
I probably would, but I'm too afraid of heights to do it.
Really?
I think it sounds super cool to do it, and like in my mind, I'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to go up there in a balloon and see the world from up there. But also, I'm so afraid of heights, I'd probably start shaking.
Yeah, it sounds like fun until you hit the high tension power lines and the balloon explodes. You fall to your death. There's a lot of ways I can leave this earth. There are certain ways that I try. I do not want to be eaten by a shark or a bear. I don't want to die in a balloon crash.
That one's pretty easily
Horrifying.
avoidable.
These are all avoidable, right?
Very easily avoidable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be eaten by a shark either. I've just never thought about that. But
are you afraid of the ocean, Bear?
I am, but I'm not. I don't think about it as much as once I'm in it.
So you will go in the ocean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm very careful. Always aware of my surroundings. I don't know. The old man took us to St. Petersburg when I was a kid. I mean, like little kid, like kindergarten, something like that. With
St.
Jaws
Petersburg, Russia?
No. Go to hell, Bob. Ass. St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yes.
Tampa, St. Pete.
I figured as much.
That was raining.
St. Petersburg, Russia is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
That's right. You've been.
Yes.
But I don't know. We went and saw Jaws at the beach. And I don't know. I saw Jaws at a very early age.
I was going to say that's probably not a good call to do that.
We hung out at the pool the rest of the time.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
And he got mad. He goes, like, we could have stayed in Knoxville if they wanted to hang out at the swimming pool.
Isn't it crazy now when you watch Jaws, the movie, it looks so like kind of
fake?
Kind of, yeah, just
campy.
hokey. Yeah, exactly. But,
it does, man. It was all about that music, man.
Yeah.
John Williams.
But, I mean, that whole, animatronic shark or whatever it was then, now they can
CGI.
Oh yeah.
Stuff looks real.
Guys.
Was that number 5?
That was number 5. We got something else we got to talk about.
Uh-oh.
More photos have dropped of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. These come from the two of them sitting in a casino together in 2024. So just more photos of them sitting next to each other at a casino in Vegas.
I got a feeling her husband's been I don't. Where does this stop? I think that's why he didn't. I think he knew this was coming. I'd be willing to bet somebody from the Post let Kraft know that there was a lot more. I think that's why he gave him a head. He went ahead and tried to get in front of it a little bit and didn't keep denying it.
I don't know if the media owes Kraft any favors. They wrote a hit piece on him not too long ago.
I'm struggling to understand the whole. He's sitting out the third day of the draft.
It's so funny.
It's like
why? I
to me, it'd be like
that until you guys said
it's.
I would be like, why not just not come to the draft?
Yeah,
period.
you're doing that, bro.
It's like the compromise he made. I feel badly about this, just bad enough to miss the third day of the NFL draft. The first 2 days, I got to be there. I got to work. I don't feel that badly about it. But
that definitely smells like. Remember when? Who was it? Was it Kirby or Urban Meyer, Bob, who did the they had players that were suspended, had gotten in trouble and had to serve suspensions, and they picked and choose what games certain guys are going to be out and serve their suspensions. You remember that, Walker?
Yeah.
I don't.
It happened this year, it felt like.
Now, it was like egregious. I think it was Kirby Smart did it. He was very strategic about who missed what game.
Didn't Ryan Day do it?
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Heupel did it. These guys, I'm not going to pretend like we're any different.
Did you happen to hear on Tony's show today that there was somebody informing Tony that Josh Heupel's he's a smoker?
He used to be. Supposedly he's quit.
Wow. I had no idea.
I don't know if that's even true. I'm kind of like where Tony was with it. I don't think there's any way that dude was a smoker.
Yeah.
Who?
Josh
Heupel. I met I know I've over the years I've met a lot of those guys that played at UT, former players, and one thing that almost 99% of those guys have in common, none of them ever put a cigarette in their mouth.
I bet that's not.
Might add to the legend.
True.
I don't know, man. You're talking about elite athletes.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be an elite athlete at that level and smoke cigarettes.
Well, everyone has a vice.
Doritos, cigarettes, whatever works for you. He might have them both.
I bet you.
That's awful. You're awful. Horrible.
I can't say anything.
What are we doing? Yeah, you're just as bad. Both of you.
What?
You guys,
they got Jim Chaney back over there now.
Respect for our football coach.
Somebody can like Doritos. It's not a big deal.
Have you been over there and toured the facility?
No, I'm not.
I've always wanted to. I'd like to see the snack area for the players and staff and stuff.
I bet it's righteous.
There's everything delicious.
Commissioner Bockwinkel on the live chat says, "What's wrong with a heater every now and again?"
Nothing. I'm just telling you in my experience, guys that play.
I agree.
Power 5 level don't smoke cigarettes.
Maybe not smoking a pack a day, but sometimes everyone.
You think Peyton was out back smoking a Newport?
Probably not, but I mean everyone.
Deck of Marlboros in his jersey.
Sometimes people have a drunk cig. It happens.
Speaking of that, in somebody's jersey, real quick, I saw last night. It was the Seattle Mariners. Their pitcher.
Oh yeah,
did you see that? He throws the pitch and the ball got hit into his jersey.
He's lucky it didn't hit him in the ribs.
Yeah,
and broken him.
It's crazy, man. Crazy what are the odds of that?
I don't know if it's ever happened before, but it hit perfectly and it was an out.
Yeah.
But God, you imagine how bad that would have hurt if that thing had hit him first.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it shocked him, honestly, when it's like
well,
that.
Yeah, because he looked like he'd people look when they almost step off the curb and get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
That relief look.
Yeah.
That was a lot like what it was on his face. Like, whoa.
Yep. Commissioner Bockwinkel says Jimmy Leland used to burn him in the dugout with the Pirates. He did. And Dean Smith, North Carolina, big smoker in the locker room.
Dick Trickle would in yellow flags in the middle of a NASCAR race, sitting in a car with with that high test jet fuel those cars run on. He'd light up a cigarette.
I bet a lot more of these guys smoked than you.
I'm just telling you, as a rule of thumb, I've never met a former football player or basketball player that was a smoker.
Coastal Vol says, pretty sure Bart Starr smoked cigarettes during games.
Well, that was the old days, like the
that,
picture of Lynn Dawson where he's bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a beer and a cigarette.
Jeremy Sanders then chimed in on the live chat, said, sure would see that. That's back when men weren't wimps. That's right. That's right, Walker. It was a different time.
Yeah.
Different time. Bear and I could talk about that all day long. All right, we got to hit a break. When we return, go back to the NFL draft, talk a little bit about there's a lot of Vols in play for the draft. Maybe not tonight, but for the next couple of days. And we're going to talk about it with Rick Butler from Rocky Top Insider. He's been putting some stuff together for RTI and for WATE. We'll talk about all that on the other side. Stick around. Be right back. You're listening to The Drive on Fan Run Radio.
The Drive.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in.
With Lucas Panzica, got a little bit of a feel for what's going on in terms of the mindset of Tennessee Titans fans with that 4th overall pick, what that's going to look like, perhaps. Could there be a trade down? Could it be getting Jeremiah Love, which is what I think the fan base by and large would love to see? Everybody's always enamored with a skill player. But what we didn't talk about was how many Tennessee Vols are in the conversation. How many guys are going to go in the first round? There could be a couple. What's going on with Jermod McCoy? There's a lot to cover, and this guy's been spending some time this week working on that, doing it for Rocky Top Insider, doing it with our partners over at WATE as well. And he's also, like Lucas Panzica, a graduate of the Fan Run Academy of Broadcasting. Let's say hello to Rick Butler from Rocky Top Insider. Rick, how are you, my man?
Hey, guys, I'm great. Hopefully you guys are doing well, too. Bob, Bear, it's good to talk to you both. And you're right, coming on this show, it's like stepping into an old pair of good shoes. It always feels right, especially with Russell not here. I wish Bear was maybe leading the ship, although sometimes that might go in a stray direction. But always good to talk to you guys and always be back. Good to be back on the show.
Yeah, let's just make a pact here with Russell not here. Is whenever Russell's on, you don't come on the show.
Yeah, I mean, Rick, you know that. I mean, you were rode shotgun with me sometimes back when Russ was crazy enough to leave me in charge when he needed a day off. Bob, so some wild times.
I bet.
Yeah, those were tough shows. I mean, you really had to plan things out, or else it could go off the rails pretty quickly. So I haven't gotten to listen to the show so far. I'll go back and listen to podcasts, but hopefully everything has been on the straight and narrow so far today.
Buddy, who are you talking to here?
That's why Bob's in charge.
Yeah,
it's not the Rick, Cody, Bear thing.
Yeah,
whatever happened there.
Hey, no, appreciate you joining us though. Seriously, like I said, you've been doing some stuff. I saw some of it. You were on WATE Plus, which is Rocky Top Insider's broadcast partner. So you've been kind of digging deep on this draft as it relates to our Vols that are in consideration there. And I think the headliner, of course, has got to be, what about Jermod McCoy? There was a moment after the combine where he all of a sudden started showing up in top 10 conversation just because of how he showed out at the combine in Indianapolis. But feels like there's some other complications that have come up. Some would think initially it's off the heels of the injury that kept him out for a year, but it may not even be that, but it's something that's a cause for concern. What do you know on that front?
Yeah, Bob, you're definitely right. I think if you're a Tennessee fan going into the draft tonight and maybe you haven't been fully up to date on everything that's been going on the last week or two with the NFL draft and all the projections and the coverage, you might be thinking that, okay, if Jermod McCoy is slipping, it's probably due to that ACL tear that kept him out of the 2025 season. But in reality, a lot of the reports that have come out from some of the big insiders around the league do not have that same opinion or do not have that same projection. If you look at what people are saying, you go back to that ACL injury that happened in January 2025. That was 14, 15, 16 months ago at this point. There's been a lot of time to recover. I don't think that there's a ton of worry about NFL teams because of that ACL. The problem, though, is that there could potentially be a second surgery down the road for Jermod McCoy. And obviously, when you're talking about a potential injury or a potential second injury for a guy like this, you're really trusting your team doctors and what they have to say. Those team doctors, what they know is a lot different than what we know right now. So I think that's kind of one of the big juxtapositions of this. But again, it's not necessarily about the ACL that was injured in January 2025. If you go back to what NFL's Tom Pelissero said just a couple of days ago, he said that the concern is about a bone plug that was used to fix a cartilage defect. There's concern among some of these NFL team doctors that he might need to undergo or is going to undergo a second surgery to replace that bone plug. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. I don't know all exactly what that entails, but I think that's sort of why you've been seeing him slip down in these projections. You look back at a couple of months ago or even about 30 days ago, and Jermod McCoy was still pretty much a projection in that 12 to 15 range. Maybe it was a couple spots higher, maybe it was a couple spots lower, but now that we're on the doorstep of the NFL draft, you're seeing a lot of guys not only move him into the back section of the round, maybe 29 to the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe number 30 to the Miami Dolphins. There are a lot of insiders out there and experts who have Jermod McCoy falling out of the first round entirely. And again, I just think it's because of a lot of those unknowns about what that second injury or that second surgery could entail. So it's a sad situation. You look back at Jermod McCoy in that 2024 season, and we all know how good Tennessee's defense was that led them to the college football playoffs. Yes, they had James Pierce coming off the edge. Yes, they had Omar Norman Lott tearing things up in the middle. But Jermod McCoy was a menace on the outside. He had 4 interceptions during that season. He consistently went up against some of the SEC's top receivers, and he really bolstered that secondary that got to the playoffs. His 2024 tape is phenomenal. If you're going by talent alone and you're not talking about the injuries, if he played in 2025 like he did in 2024, I think that Jermon McCoy is a bona fide top 10 pick. Nobody really disagrees with that. The issue and the uncertainty and the red flags come around his knee, not necessarily related to the ACL, but more so to this potential bone plug situation and what that might entail for the future. So I think that's storyline number one, if you're a Tennessee fan going into tonight's first round, is not just how much is Jermon McCoy going to slide from those initial 12 to 15 projections, but if he's going to stay in the first round altogether. Maybe you have a situation where, say you have a team who is on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, right? Maybe they're a contender. Maybe they're just a couple pieces away, and they feel like they can compete here and now. Maybe that's a team that says, you know what? There's a chance that we can potentially push that second surgery, if needed, off a little bit, and we can try to get Jermon McCoy on the field as fast as possible. You saw him run straight lines. You saw him run the zigzags at Tennessee's Pro Day just a little while ago. I think that there's an expectation around the league that he could go now if he wanted to, but then you're having to think about that potential second situation later on down the road. So I think there's a lot of question marks and red flags with Jermon McCoy right now. Obviously, that's just based on what insiders have been reporting, but it's hard. It's a tough situation, not only for the kid, but also for the media and the analysts who are saying, well, we're not the team doctors. We don't have the same information as them. That's why I think it's been so hard to project McCoy's status here in these last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm just, as the day has gone on, I've been looking through all sorts of mock drafts. And I mean, I've seen, it could be, there's still some, and maybe it's a little dated over the last few days. I've seen Jermon projected as high as 16. I'm looking at one on CBS Sports right now that has him at pick 25 to the Bears. I've even seen one, it might have been Field Yates with ESPN, where he has Colton Hood being picked ahead of Jermon McCoy. And that's a good segue into Colton Hood, because that story blows my mind. That's a guy, it was my understanding when he came to Tennessee, he was, kind of deemed not good enough for Coach Prime in Colorado. Maybe that was just my imagination, but that guy had a wonderful season. And I think it's pretty fitting that guy is consistently in the conversation to possibly be a late first round pick.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And there you go. That's storyline number 2 to watch for Tennessee fans tonight, the first and the second right there. Colton Hood, going back to this season, I think that we were all impressed by what he was able to do, especially stepping into the top cornerback spot for Tennessee when Jermon McCoy never came back to the field. And then obviously Ricky Gibson went down, 7 plays into the season last year. So he's thrust into that top cornerback role. Not only that, but he's got a true freshman to the other side of the field from him. That's a tough position to step into, and he played really well. To me, it didn't jump off the page the same way as McCoy's 2024 season, but I think what's really helped Colton Hood here in these last couple months is what's happened after the season. Not only have these analysts and these film junkies been able to go back and look at the 13 games as a whole, I think they've really liked what they saw when you look at everything from the macro perspective. But then also, he went out to the NFL Senior Bowl, and he had one of the best showings of any player there over in Alabama. Then you fast forward a little bit and you go to the NFL Combine. Again, follows up the Senior Bowl with a great NFL Combine performance. Then you go to the Tennessee Pro Day. Not only did he show out there, but I think he continued to raise his draft stock. And then maybe last but not least, maybe lesser so than the on-field stuff, but I think in these last couple of weeks, he's portrayed himself as a very mature, likable player who is excited for his opportunity in the NFL. You look back at some of the interviews and the media rounds that he's been making, not only, what he showed during his Tennessee Pro Day when he spoke to the media there, but he went on, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco's Nightcap show a couple weeks ago. He went on Good Morning Football a couple weeks ago. He's been doing all these media rounds, and I think that sort of grows his aura a little bit. So it's kind of been this perfect storm for Colton Hood of being able to rise up the draft board. But there's also the standpoint of, okay, so let's go back about 3 months ago. I think the widespread consensus among these analysts and people watching for the draft was that ultimately this was a 2-cornerback draft at the top of the class. You had Tennessee's Jermon McCoy, and you had LSU's Mansour Delane, who's obviously being propped up now with this McCoy injury. Then behind them, a little bit of a gap, but then you have this group or this cluster for the number 3 cornerback slot, whether it be Tennessee's Colton Hood, whether it be Chris Johnson out of San Diego State, whether it be Avion Terrell out of Clemson, kind of mix and match those guys in any order. Well, in these last couple months, it seems like not only has Colton Hood kind of separated himself from Chris Johnson and Terrell from Clemson, but also with Jermon McCoy's injury, Jermon McCoy is not necessarily the cornerback number 2 in this draft. If it was based on talent, sure, but that's not the case. So Colton Hood, unfortunately for his teammate, he's kind of been the biggest beneficiary of Jermon McCoy's uncertain status. Now you see Colton Hood kind of propping his way up and a little bit into the first round. Now, it's still towards the back half. Some of the mock drafts that I looked at today had 29 to the Kansas City Chiefs, 30 to the Miami Dolphins, 18 to the Minnesota Vikings, and then a couple of mock drafts still listed him as a second-round player ultimately. But I think at the end of the day, you absolutely could see Colton Hood not only sneak into the backside of the first round today, but maybe even kind of get up to that late middle of the round pack, like again with number 18 to the Minnesota Vikings. So I just think there's been a lot of good publicity around Colton Hood lately. I think he's done exactly what he needs to do here in this offseason portion with the different camps and combines. But there's no doubt about it. I do think that he's benefiting from all the uncertainty around Jermon McCoy right now.
Talking with Rick Butler, Rocky Top Insider, getting a little sneak peek as we head into draft night 2026. Tennessee's got a lot of players in consideration. I'd say the number 3 guy is one that, and then maybe open it up for Bear and Walker with any questions, but the one that's on my mind, and I loved watching this guy play this past season. And he's another one who at one point I felt like I was seeing him in some of these mocks a while back as maybe a possible late first round pick. Now he's slipping into second and third round conversation, and that's Chris Brazzell. This guy, I felt like you compare him to, maybe with all due respect to Jalen Hyatt, I feel like this guy has got the makeup of an NFL receiver more so than Jalen Hyatt does. Where do you, if you're just ballparking, Rick, where do you see this guy ending up landing? And why do you think that things have changed in terms of, again, held in a very high regard by the draft nicks, but now still valued, but not quite as high?
Yeah, well, first off, you hear a lot of people talking about how this draft might not be from top to bottom as good as others in the past or as good as what the 2027 draft class is supposed to present. That being said, though, there's been a lot of good wide receivers in this class, whether you look at Omar Cooper or Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. I just think that this is a really loaded wide receiver class, and it's pretty top-heavy with guys who could potentially go in the first round, could go early in the second round. I do think that has probably pushed Chris Brazzell back in the pack a little bit. To me, he's going to be a day 2 guy, whether that be at the end of the second round or somewhere in the third round. Probably seems more likely to me, but who knows? Maybe you find a team like the Buffalo Bills who just could use anything and everything to use for Josh Allen going forward. But I see him as a round 3 pick. The interesting thing about Chris Brazzell is that, as we saw on the field last year, he's got all the talent in the world that an NFL team would want. He's fast, he's tall, he can make the contested catches. There was people who were complimenting his ability on the route tree, which, as we know, sometimes has been a critique of the Josh Heupel offense here at Tennessee, especially with wide receivers. But I think that people believe that Chris Brazzell is a fairly complete wide receiver. And again, when you're standing at 6'5", whatever he is, when he ran his 40-yard dash time, which was the 8th fastest among wide receivers at the NFL Combine, I think that turned a lot of heads. I think that alerted a lot of NFL teams to say, hey, this is a deep threat guy, more so than a Dante Thornton last year, who I believe went in maybe the 5th round to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that people really see Chris Brazzell as somebody who can get behind the defense, who can challenge cornerbacks on the outside with his size, and who has the contested catchability. Now, to your question a second ago, maybe why is he not up there with some of the receivers that we mentioned a second ago? There has been a report this week, and it came from ESPN's Adam Schefter, that maybe there are some off-the-field concerns that NFL teams have about Chris Brazzell. Now, I do not think by any stretch of the imagination, and we didn't see it at Tennessee, I don't know why it would come up here, is that he's a troublemaker. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the type of off-the-field question that people are having. Maybe it's something to do with maturity. Maybe it's something to do with football IQ, something like that. I'm sort of just speculating here, but I don't think that the off-the-field issues that Adam Schefter brought up have anything to do with being a troublemaker. I know myself as a Dallas Cowboys fan, that's something that's being talked a lot about with the George Pickens, a guy who is late to meetings, a guy who can sometimes be anti-authority to the head coach or to the executives in the room. I don't think that's Chris Brazzell, but I do think there has been some off-the-field concerns that some of these NFL teams have that could push him back a little bit. That's why I personally see him going in the 3rd round.
Hey, Rick, it's Walker. Let's look a little deeper into the draft. Do you think that Joey Aguilar is going to hear his name called in the next couple of days?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I was a betting man, I would probably lean towards no. That's sort of the position that I've held for the last couple of months. I think that, he'll probably get an opportunity as an undrafted free agent if that doesn't happen. He's an older guy. He's coming off of that injury, which I think, what he told us during the Tennessee Pro Day back on March 31st, that while his throwing is a little bit limited then, he felt like he was going to be good to go once he joined a team. Maybe some of those things are kind of holding him back a little bit. But then kind of out of the blue, you saw a mock draft come up from NFL.com just about a week ago that had him as the 8th to final pick in the NFL draft coming up this weekend. So maybe he sneaks into the back end of the draft. Maybe he sneaks into that 7th round. Somebody takes a flyer on him. Somebody believes that, he can go in there and compete a little bit. They like his story. They like his attitude. They like who he is as a person, and maybe are willing to take a flyer. So that's sort of, I don't want to say it changed my mind from me thinking that he was going to be an undrafted free agent and not get picked, but it did at least start turning the wheels a little bit too. Okay, maybe it's at least a little bit more possible than I was giving credit for originally that somebody could take a flyer on late in the draft. So, is it possible? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen? No, not necessarily. We'll see how things unfold over the next couple of days. But if he does, I think it'll be right at the tail end, right in the final hour of the NFL draft when you're getting to those 7th round picks. But I do think that you see him at least on a practice squad or something coming up this summer as an undrafted free agent, somebody who can go into a camp and, get some throws in, see what he can do.
Rick, is there anything that leads you to believe your Cowboys are going to be any improved this year? You all just going to continue to fail miserably, and that's an incredibly exciting thought to me that they would be horrible again.
As disrespectful as that was, because I know there's Cowboys fans everywhere, Barry. You know that. I know that. Bob knows that. Walker
not
knows
that
that.
many,
the
buddy.
Listeners know that. They're everywhere, and they're right here in Knoxville listening to this program right now. So as disrespectful as that was, no, I don't think there's anything that leads me to believe that things are going to magically change around this year. I think that there are several ways that they could mess this thing up today. They've got 12 and 20, not necessarily the 2 greatest picks in the world when you're looking at a 10-player heavy draft. There are just a number of ways that they could mess this thing up. There are a couple of ways that it could go well, though. So I'm at least holding out hope that maybe they make a big move. Maybe they trade up in the draft. I saw some people saying if Tennessee doesn't want the number 4 pick, maybe the Cowboys could jump up there, maybe to number 6. But no, again, as disrespectful as that question was, no, there's nothing in the Magic 8 Ball that makes me think that things are going to magically turn around in the here and now.
I hate to hear that.
Y'all going to sign Pickens, or y'all just going to let him leave?
They tendered him, but he has to sign now.
Yeah, I think there's no way that he will be on the roster in the year 2027. I think that it's his best interest to play on the tag next year with all the different questions that float around. If there was another team who wanted to go grab him this offseason, like they could have reached out. They could have done something along those lines, but all of the information and chatter out of Dallas right now says that no one's done that. So I don't think he can afford to hurt his value by not playing next year. But I don't know what's going to happen. One way or another, I don't think a long-term deal is coming by any stretch.
I mean, he carries around quite a bit of baggage.
Sure.
Anytime
Georgia Bulldogs.
Anytime you got Jerry Jones involved, there's just magic waiting to happen. So I can't wait to see what he's doing tonight. You saw he brought Big Bill Clinton in for some meeting yesterday. So.
The big dog?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he almost fell off the podium going for a handshake. It was a real old man moment.
God, he'd break, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hey, Rick, good stuff, man. Really good work. I appreciate it. This guy is always killing it over at Rocky Top Insider, rockytopinsider.com, WAT Plus. This guy, he did okay. You guys over here at Fan Run, you groomed him well.
He's second best intern the drive ever had.
Once again, I appreciate that, but that's a little disrespectful as well.
You'll never be in front of Lexi, man.
Yeah. And just remember how good this all felt today without Russell in the mix. Just always remember that.
Yeah.
Can't say that to Rick. Loves Russell.
Well,
that's his boy.
Well,
guys, I'll leave you with one final nugget on the way out. Twice so far in the Josh Heupel era, Tennessee has had 5 draft picks. That's been the most of the Heupel era. They had 5 in 2022, 5 in 2023. I think that's the number we're looking at here for 2026 as well. If back to Walker's question, though, Joey Aguilar could be that sixth player. Maybe somebody else jumps into the fold, but I think you're looking at 5 Tennessee players over the next 3 days, which would, again, tie the Josh Heupel era record for NFL draft picks here at Tennessee. But who knows? Maybe you get to that 6, and maybe this is the year that they break it.
He might have as many draft picks as wins next season.
Damn, Bob.
My God.
Oh, my God.
Bob.
It is. We've discovered working with Bob, Rick, that it means nothing to Bob to turn around and just backhand somebody just out of the blue. Just a horrendous cheap shot.
Yeah.
So he fits in pretty good.
That's why he fits on the drive. I was just going to say it.
Mm-hmm. All right, my man. Hey, again, appreciate the time. It's good talking to you. Hope you have a great weekend. Rick Butler with Rocky Top Insider. Rick, take care, my man.
Yeah, guys, appreciate y'all having me. Have a great show, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, buddy.
Rick Butler.
Yeah. RB Frederick.
Our little boy's all grown up.
That's right. Sure has. All right, let's take a final break. When we return, I think we might have a couple calls we got to address.
At least one, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll hit that on the other side. Be right back. It's The Drive on Fan Run Radio.
The Drive.
Tony Basilio, the official voice of the common fan, is now on Fan Run Radio. Fan Run Radio. Tony Basilio, weekdays from 11 to 1. Be there.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Have you ever found yourself wishing your clothes looked brand new again? Whether it's your favorite suit, that little black dress, or your comfy winter coat, Crown Cleaners can make it happen. From stubborn stains to delicate fabrics, the expert team at Crown Cleaners uses the latest cleaning technology to ensure your clothes come back looking and feeling fresh. Visit one of their 2 area locations, Kingston Pike on Bearden Hill or South North Shore Drive near Dunkin' Donuts. Online at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, a tradition of excellence.
Where are the best ribs in the Volunteer State? Rickard Ridge. Who has the best barbecue catering packages in East Tennessee? Rickard Ridge. And where is the most beautiful setting to enjoy a meal with family and friends? Rickard Ridge. Rickard Ridge Barbecue. Just a quick ride up I-75, take exit 134, hang a right, and Rickard Ridge is on your left, just inside Cove Lake State Park.
Vol fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
Zone 104.5 Titans Radio, and then Rick Butler with Rocky Top Insider. This show moved quickly, guys.
Made it a really easy day. They did most of the heavy lifting. There's all three of my favorite guests that we have on: Ben, Just Ben knows his stuff when it comes to baseball, man.
Yes, he
especially.
does.
I mean, he covers everything really well, but baseball's his jam. Lucas, and then Rick.
Yeah,
who was all three very entertaining, good friends of the show. So.
Absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines. Got DR Vol on here. DR, what is up, my man?
What's going on, guys? You got me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I'm in a 120-degree sauna riding a bike, so I didn't hear the beep. I got a question from yesterday's show. Walker, what do you mean Derek Dooley made you a hamburger?
Oh,
I've not heard this story.
I've told the story on here before, but the story goes, me and one of his sons, Peyton, we were best friends in elementary school back when I was really little, and I got to go over to his house a couple of times and hang out with Peyton, play video games, and one time he made us dinner.
Apparently, Derek Dooley makes a good hamburger.
He made a great hamburger.
And Walker's love comes cheap.
He didn't make a good coach, but I guess he made a good burger.
Hey, man, I didn't know any better at the time. If you had told me how good a coach he was, I'd have said he was the best one we'd ever had.
Oh, I'm not knocking you. I got to meet him one time because I lied about being a Tennessee alumni, and me and my brother got to meet him and Bruce Pearl, which, he was a Saint. So I was ecstatic, to say the least. Wish Jamie would have been with me.
I bet that would have been weird. Jamie would have made it weird.
He would have fallen on his knees.
I made it
worshiping.
weird. I've been down there with him. He was a saint.
That's true.
Guys, are we getting excited about this basketball team end up not getting Juke or Nate? I'm starting to worry that's what's about to happen.
I think you get one of them. That's my opinion. I don't know if we get them both, but I'd be surprised if we get shut out. Let's put it that way.
I'm more intrigued, DR, about this 5 for 5 thing. You bring back the
fifth year.
Bring me back Acapara.
It'd be such a monkey wrench into this whole thing.
Sure would.
All these teams have 80% of their rosters made, and then a fifth year would just blow that whole thing up.
I don't even want to get my hopes up for that. I've already got my hopes up for Nate Ament, and who was it? Morgan Freeman said hope is a dangerous thing. I don't want to be hurt.
Yeah.
It's okay, DR.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
It could go either way. The good news is you've got probably another month to agonize over it. It's probably going to take that long.
Yeah. Now, Bob, I will ask before I go, the preacher, he didn't mention you. But what's going on with that?
He didn't mention me either.
Yeah, I don't know. That's okay.
Well, Bob takes a lot of cheap shots at people.
Yeah, well,
something I don't do.
That guy's on the list now. He's next.
Well,
once
all I can think about when I watch that, and here I go, it's customary on the show, was Bob probably watched that, thought, that's how you handle a microphone. You don't have to scream and ask people they want a T-shirt or scream, let's go.
You said it, and I don't disagree.
What'd you make of Gia Russell besmirching your good name?
About what? Midgets?
No, God, stop. About being part of, my team that helps me out with stuff.
Oh, I'm a proud member of Bears team.
He's on the Tiger team.
Yeah.
He's a starter. He's a starter for sure.
Yeah.
I just like to hold people accountable. So
I got you.
Okay. Guys, I won't take up the rest of the show, but y'all done a great job. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. By the way, shout out before we get to our next caller. Just want to name the guy. His name is Will Connolly, who tweeted at Russ and Bear about his sermon and mentioning the drive. So shout out him. He's a listener, and I think he's called in before.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Will. Real quick, and then we have one more call. Just in the last hour, photos of Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini leaked again from shortly after the Titans fired him, and they were spotted together at a casino, the Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi, shortly before midnight.
Mississippi?
Yep.
How tawdry is that?
This picture's tawdry, too.
You're not even in Vegas, Bob. You're in some casino on a river in Mississippi.
Man, this is bad. Somebody said
just tonight end.
Somebody on the live chat said this is like somebody said on X, this is like the Joker or whatever or the Riddler on the Batman movies where they just drop something every hour.
$100 is right before the Patriots pick. What if they drop one that's like really bad?
Oh, I bet. Hey, real quick, got to hit the phones. We got one more call, and it's none other than Roberto. So let's get this one in. Roberto, what's up, my man?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I've really enjoyed the show. Something different today. Seems really good, though,
Thank
for whatever
you,
it's worth.
Appreciate that.
Some would say better. I don't know who those people
Some
are.
would say better. I would say potentially better, for
Yeah,
sure.
Well, that happens.
It's a nice break.
I want to, I've broken this Alabama series down to levels that beyond scientific at this point because I have no interest in the NFL draft, so I'm headed over to the lens right now with my I Hate Alabama hat on, for the record.
Say hi to Russell for us over there.
I will do. So I think Tennessee wins this game this series two ways. The one thing Alabama does pretty well is get on base via walks and singles. But their batting average is pretty comparable to Tennessee's, which is crazy. But the one thing that I found, Alabama only has one player with an OPS over 1,000. Did you guys know that?
Do they just not slug? Because if their on base is high, then I guess they just don't slug that much.
Yeah, exactly. That's so. Actually, in home runs, I did some research, actual research. They're 64th in the nation in home runs, and we have 5 guys with OPS over 1,000, which also surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them are starters, but I think they don't do terribly well at base on balls allowed as a pitching staff. They're 36th. We're 4th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Whip, it's pretty equal. We're 6th. They're 23rd. But the one that jumps off the page, I think we win by, as I said, slugging a lot. By the way, Tennessee, 70 home runs this year. What does that rank in the country? You guys have any idea?
No idea.
It's like 25th.
17th.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So as bad, air quotes, as we are at hitting home runs this year, we're in the top 20. But we win it on doubles, guys. We're going to win it on doubles and base on balls not allowed.